Yeah, Film Vault. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop, your host for today. Unique topic. I like this one. Straight from our own Superfan Giovanni, suggesting top 5 movies you remember seeing as a child. And that seems very nebulous, but in fact, these are viewings that you would have had specific recollections of, and I believe stories will ensue.
Yes. Do you know why he did this? I hesitate to even tell you.
Because he longs for his childhood and hates his adulthood?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think he hates both hoods.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
equally.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the hood.
Not a fan of either hoods. No.
Why? I didn't get that.
If you listen to this program, you hear me talk about my tumultuous childhood quite a bit. There's a lot of stories to mine there, and I mine them and bring them to the program. You don't. You don't talk about your parents very much. You don't talk about your brother. You don't talk about your family. You don't talk about your childhood very much.
I had a very...
Maybe it's because you were never really a child. You started going bald at like 6.
I started losing my hair in the 7th grade.
Technically, he was born bald.
Yeah, right. I was born bald. I had a good 11-year run with hair, and then it was all over. My childhood was certainly not idyllic, but it was good. It was above average. I had loving parents and a tight family. So here we go. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'm not going to say it was lap of luxury. So it's not. But
any stories going to come of said family and childhood from this here list? Is going to evoke anything in you?
Yeah, you'll find this hard to believe. I was about to say, yeah. You'll find this hard to believe.
Right.
But most of my list revolves around me being a huge pab.
Okay.
So prepare for that.
I mean, that's what I see and hear and think every time I see you. So
I know, but you're going to see some of the genesis of that.
Oh, the genesis of pabbery.
Oh, I should warn you, too, that...
Pab, just for the uninitiated, pab is something that somebody coined. I don't know who. And it stands for don't touch my headphones, please.
Oh, that's you.
Right. Pussy ass bitch, which is it's pejorative. It's kind of rude, kind of mean.
Kind of rude
to hear Sarah Silverman say it. I mean, the P word actually should be interplaced with the dick word because dicks are balls. She was talking about how fragile balls are. It was very good. It was a very, very good bit. But she was talking about, when people say, you got some balls on you, like they're the most fragile thing in the world.
That's true. A little tap to the balls renders you inactive.
Right. So, but she was talking about the vagine and how the vagine actually it's much tougher. Take a pounding and give birth.
That's
a lot of great points she makes, that Sarah Silverman. However, that said, the genesis of the PAB, P-A-B, used as a lovingly pejorative.
Sure. Right, usually self-deprecating.
Usually, yes. It all began with me calling Tyler a pab and just confusing him throughout an entire episode of The After Disaster some 12 years ago. And then I let him know towards the end of the episode what it stood for. He was not thrilled. He was not happy. But pussy ass bitch is what it means. And it's what I usually refer to myself as when I'm crying, which is often. Yes.
You referred to me back in our phone screener days as a cab.
A cab?
Cab. Kiss House Brian.
With a K. Yeah. Kiss House Brian.
That's right.
Cabby pab?
I didn't, but it could have worked. Yeah.
There was no pab.
Hey, I want to talk.
Wait, you say you didn't? You did.
I called you a cab, really?
You called not a cab, but cab.
I did, really?
Cab.
I have no recollection.
Yeah, you and
Seems like me.
Tara.
Don't call me Tara.
Had a good little laugh about that one.
Tara was a phone screener as well as Brian, and I still love thinking back to that time when you were a phone screener, and then they realized they were going to fire you, but they didn't tell you. Instead, they did something evil and genius, which is hire the new phone screener, have you train the new phone screener who you had no idea was replacing you.
Can I tell you something?
That's fun stuff.
Trained the shit out of the phone screener.
I'm sure you did.
It's a great phone screener after I left.
Can I tell you she was? She was so much better.
Was it a she? I never got
so much better than you and so much more fun to talk to and hang out with you.
Who was it?
Can't remember her name. Honestly, Brian, if you were to have left, I don't know if I'd be able to remember your name.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
I call you a cab. Oh, but I mean, you didn't leave my life.
I see.
Here we are. Here we are.
As I walked out the door.
Hey,
never to return.
This is a tough transition to make, but let's
talk
1 second about real estate, okay? Because I'm out there, I'm running, I'm doing open houses, I'm talking to clients, and I just recently I was telling clients, now is not the greatest time. Prices are still talking about buyer clients. Prices are still going up on houses, and the rates are incredibly terrible, really, really bad. However, just like things change week to week, really. So just within the last week, rates have dropped, and sellers are making more concessions than they were just a year ago, and there's more on the market. So if you were thinking about buying, there's more inventory, Brian. So if you were thinking, it's one of the main reasons why I decided to get into this business is I thought, I'm already going to have a billboard to an extent with my voice with all of you who hear me. And if you know anything about me, you know that I work very hard and that I'm as honest as I can be, right?
How is there not listener art about Anderson's billboard?
So I'm not going to get a billboard, but like this is.
But we should have virtual edition.
So I'm doing real estate every single day, and if you are in the market, or you've been thinking about getting in the market, or you just have questions about when you should or when you shouldn't, and you would like me to answer some of those questions, please reach out. Send me an email, Anderson@andersoncowan.com. I'm working with strangers every single day, and I'm not strangers to them anymore because I've made relationships, but I'm really looking forward to working with some listeners who are here in the Southern California area. So. I have a great team behind me, and I'm here to help. I'm well versed, and I'm on the MLS every single day. I'm showing houses often, running open houses, and talking to lenders every day. Like I know what's up. I don't talk about it here on this program because it's not really related to film at all. But hey, if you want to get in the market now is a good time. And just at the open house I was at last weekend, the buyers still aren't coming back. I don't know if they're just not aware that it's more.
So this is a good time, right before the wave crest.
A small little window. There's a lot of people sitting on the sideline going, I'm waiting for the rates to come down. Everyone's going to come out when the rates really, really come down. So, there's the whole date the rate and, marry the house, marry the price. But we can talk about all of these things. I have a great lender. I have a couple great lenders. So if you are thinking about it and you want to, even if it takes, these things take a long, long time, but let's get going.
Get the wheels turning.
Hit me.
Let's keep talking.
Let's keep talking. There he is. So shoot me an email if you have any questions or you're thinking about getting in the market. I can open almost any house that's on the market.
That should be your tagline for your billboard for your bench ad. There he is. Anderson Cowan's going to sell this house.
Let's keep talking.
All
right, let's not
there he is.
talk anymore about that. Let's transfer over to and
what's that?
Yes, and I'm also working on I'm living my dream. It's just I'm not thriving with finances at the moment because that's the name of the game when you're an artist, I guess. But working on the movie every day, and I'm working on real estate every single day. That's and also being a dad.
Look at you working for yourself.
But that's all I wanted to do. Real estate and make movies and be my own boss. Yeah, and I'm doing all that. It's just it's slow going right now. So
understood. This is gonna be a throwback episode, by the way.
Loadedforbeardoc.com. Yeah, and I almost have the promo done where it's going to show parts of the shorts, parts of the behind the scenes of the short, and parts of the documentary, which is the Born Dad class.
I got to tell you, I haven't gotten infused in a while, but took my Ritalin this morning. We're recording in the morning, so I am hyped. Let's go.
Settle down.
Sorry, that's as good as it gets these days.
All right, let's hear from.
What have the people seen, Avery? Tell us in a segment we call Fanfliction.
Little fanfiction compiled by the Mitch Burns. Matthew's son on Facebook. I saw the Marvels. It maxed out the fun meter and was a joy to watch.
A joy.
Nice action, but the relationship between the leads was fantastic. I hope more people see this.
Who's that?
What did Gio call himself?
He's going by Matthew's son now on Facebook.
Matthew's son. Gio, we see right through all that.
He's not going by Joseph Cherry on Facebook. The Marvels. Feels like it's pandering a bit to the 8%. Didn't love it. For those who don't know, Brie Larson pre-Marvel, please go back and watch Short Term 12 and Room.
Hey, fuck to the yes on both.
She's a goddamn powerhouse.
Envy Adams.
Do you want to guess the Marvel's FVT score?
75.
66.
With 11 reviews, 91.
Whoa. Look at that.
That doesn't shock me. That does not shock me.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Beesh 24 on Instagram. Saw The Killer in theaters, smart, and rewatched it at home on Netflix.
Jesus Christ.
I love this movie. Absolutely love how the Smiths are used in the film. Fassbender was perfect casting for such a meticulous role. So many beautiful shots in this film and great sequences that remind you why there is no one else like Fincher.
It's true. All that is true.
Edward Pretty on Facebook. The Killer, Netflix. Lost track of how many times I fell asleep during this movie. It was
said he's narcoleptic.
It was okay, I guess. Do we want to guess the Killer FVT score?
I'm going to go.
If it's lower in the Marvels, I'm going to be very upset.
I'm going to go 75.
Oh, 80.
16 reviews. It is at 87.
All right. Virtual tie.
It's lower.
Virtual tie.
It is lower.
Virtual.
At Distant Terry on Twitter, Albert Brooks defending my life. A great look into Albert Brooks' career and films, directed by Rob Reiner. So it's a hard pass for Anderson.
Great director.
But a fun watch.
I saw that this existed, and it was such a hard pass for me. Really? I mean, it was a hard decision to make.
It was a difficult pass.
I will possibly catch up with it one day, but I'm not champing at the bit because of Mr. Reiner.
His involvement. Is he featured throughout? Like, is he on camera?
I just told you
you
in great detail that I passed on this movie.
I thought you investigated.
No.
All right. Sorry.
I saw his name, and then I got to the Rob Rye. Might be directed by Rob Rye, because that's all I read. I stopped reading after that.
Yeah, all I got to was Rob Rye, and I slapped my own phone out of my hand.
Finally, our own Ludwig van
I
Bacon.
saw what they say about the Albert Brooks movie.
He liked it.
Okay.
LVB.
Fun watch for Brooks fans. LVB Art on Instagram.
Ludwig van Bacon.
Had the pleasure of seeing Saltburn at an Amazon influencer early screening. Look at you. I had honestly no idea what to expect, but the theater was absolutely packed. There are several shocking scenes, which made for a great theater experience for me and gave my wife secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, my.
Barry Cogan delivers a great performance, and there are several well-placed reveals. My only complaint would be that it could use some tightening up, maybe 20, 30-minute trim. All in all, 7 out of 10 bacon bits.
I like that bacon bits.
Not bad.
I like it. Hey, I like that bacon bits. That's good stuff.
Saltburn.
And then lastly, a little news from Mitch Burns. As we said, Blackberry's streaming on AMC Plus as a limited series. But if you say fuck to the no on that, it's also just streaming as the movie, as God intended. So you can watch either way on AMC Plus.
Oh, so you can
either as a series with the added content.
Kind of experimenting with the medium is this?
Or you can just see the straight up film.
Hey, honey, do you want to watch a movie, or do you want to watch that movie in 3 parts? Honey?
I think watching the movie is smart, and then, you know what, if you're inspired, which you should be.
For the rewatch, you do the...
Yeah, watch the extra.
But, I mean, it's so confusing for people. What are they doing?
I don't know.
Just put the fucking movie up there. Put one or the other. Let people watch the great storytelling, the great acting, the great direction.
It's all there.
I dipped into a little Criterion channel.
Did you? Look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants over here.
70s car films. One of them was the original, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, not bad.
Holy fuck.
Not bad.
The first 40 minutes, asinine. Just the loosest, just window dressing to eventually get to where it goes. I did not know where it was going. Holy fuck. Some of the craziest filmmaking I've seen in my entire life.
What is this?
The original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
They didn't give a fuck back then.
No, 40-minute car chase.
Yeah.
40-minute. And I didn't realize it was written, directed, and starring by the guy who's doing all the stunts.
Yeah, it's like
unbelievable.
It was like
Is that Hal Needham?
No, he's got some odd.
What was it? What was
he's like H.L. Hillbicky or something.
Nice.
What was?
He didn't he die?
Yeah, he was one of the.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even driving a car in that film.
But he
freak accident on
the set of
Gone in 60 Seconds too.
Yes, the sequel. That's it. Thank you.
Or a water tower came down and a cable snapped. But I would highly recommend it if you got Criterion Channel, stick with it. The first 40 minutes, it's stupid, but it's fun because you still get to see all the fun cars that they're stealing and that little slice life from the 70s. But that car chase, I think that's the craziest thing with vehicles I've ever seen in my life, Mad Max included.
Really? And you've seen French Connection?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to scream.
I've seen French Connection.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the fact that they're doing this on LA highways and it's 40 minutes long. It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
And the guy destroyed his back in the attempt to get that one of the final shots.
He destroyed himself.
Very enjoyable.
And I think that's what led to Stuntman, like the story of Stuntman with Burt Reynolds. I could be wrong on that, but there's that whole story of him as being a stuntman, and he destroyed his back, and if he does one more jump, he'll be paralyzed.
Yeah.
Hooper.
Wouldn't surprise me. But
Stuntman, Hooper.
Would recommend that 70s car chase collection on Criterion.
And now you're gonna go watch Ferrari and be let down.
Yeah.
Because of all the CGI.
I saw The Last Run with George C. Scott, too. Pretty enjoyable.
You saw The Who with the what?
The Last Run with George C. Scott.
The Last Run. Oh, look at you.
Pretty
catching
good.
up with the old.
Pretty good.
I've never seen The Last Run.
It's some enjoyable George C. Scott. And great cars, obviously. And what I like about the whole collection, there's nothing longer than an hour 40. It's all just short, to the point, great cars.
Get in, get out.
I like that.
Very
I
fun.
do like the short and to the point because there's a lot of prattling on.
Yeah, no, none of that. George C. Scott, the way he carries himself is just great. He's just got that movie star.
Yeah, he was like an old
heaviness
school
to
movie
him,
star.
yeah.
Yeah, screen presence, as they say.
I love the George C. Scott. What did I just see with him? You saw The Day of the Dolphin, right?
No, that's with the talking dolphins, right?
So it's where he teaches a dolphin to speak.
Sure.
And then become a terrorist.
But yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds in the last run, very enjoyable.
Well, what did I just see with George C. Scott? I just saw him. What was it? All right, I'll let it go. I need to watch that hardcore. I've been saying it for months now. Gotta watch. You'll know that things are good in my life if I have time to watch hardcore. Hardcore. Paul Schrader film starring George C. Scott.
Well known as a meme, yes.
Need to watch it. What did I just? All right, let's. Oh yeah, back to me. Let's get into.
Speaking of prattling on,
me.
Let's talk about the movies we've seen in a little segment called Fanflickssions.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Do you want to address the film you caught up on?
Okay, so
did everyone see?
I mean, it's in the titles, but we haven't even said at the top what we're watching, right? What we're covering here.
No, it's not.
All right, The Marvels is being covered.
That's right.
Right? Probably do that one first. We're doing a little movie called The Killer, which I had not seen. Caught up with that one, so we're going to do a little redo of that. And then we're also going to talk about Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario, a.k.a. I'm Your Nightmare.
Yes. A.k.a. I Am Your Nightmare with Nicolas Cage, the new movie Dream Scenario, which I don't know if you know this about me, Brian, but if...
You like Nicolas Cage? I didn't know that.
If I like a movie, I will sit through the credits. If I do not like the movie, I bolt. Like, that's my own little thing. It's not like I publicize it. It's my own little personal statement, right? And
sure.
It's like, no matter how bad I got to pee, if I really like a movie, I'll sit through it.
Just soil yourself.
I can tell you that the best joke, I think, in all of Dream Scenario, and there was some very funny laugh out loud moments, but the most clever thing that I saw in that whole movie was at the very, very end. It might be in the last. I had this thing that I was going to do.
When the usher came, like, sir, you must leave.
That was hilarious. No. I had this thing I was going to do where I was going to read the last name of the last person in credits, like just to let you know if I like the movie or not, and then give it its due, like the very last name.
Sure.
It's hard.
That's the ultimate endorsement.
It's hard, though, to do that.
It's just in Panavision.
No, but you see, it is Panavision. You don't know what the last name's going to be, so you end up like memorizing too many and going, is that going to be the last name? And you don't know, so it's tough. I would like to do that, but if I'm watching in the theater, it's very, very tough. That said, I will explain to you what the funniest, little most clever joke is, which I saw at the very end of Dream Scenario once we get there.
Well, you can't do it now?
No, we can't. We have to. I'm teasing, Brian. I'm teasing.
All right. Talk about the fucking Marvels.
Let's talk about the Marvels.
Fucking Marvels is a theater film experience now.
Oh, can I tell you why I saw the Marvels?
Please.
Because you've been clamoring.
Because you don't like hurting the show.
Clamoring?
Clam.
Come on, dude. Come on. We're better than that. We're better
cut
than
that
that.
I am not.
Sanction yourself.
Thank you for cutting out my horrible misstep last week. I appreciate the bleep. Thank you. There's no need for that out there. All right. I was planning on banning with great gusto this Marvel movie after being let down and upset and annoyed by the advertising and the hilarious jokes with the cat in the trailer and the giant cutout like little mini billboards that they have in theater lobbies for the last months or so. And then my friend and yours, Giovanni, begged, pleaded, oh, I can't show because I'm using my phone for my camera, but you should see the amount of text that he wrote me begging me to watch this.
I ain't got no such text. I got
you guys, it's comical. I almost want to like kill the video feed to show you. It's comical.
Well,
Just imploring.
There's like 14, I think, in a row, and each one was like a paragraph.
Yeah.
It's just on and on and on about why I have to see it, and it's going to change my life, and it's going to like bring me so much joy, and it's the greatest thing he's ever seen. A little hyperbole there, but I mean, and he's like, it's an easy hour and 31 minutes. I'm like, dude, I can see that you're lying because it's an hour and 46 minutes, and stop overselling this thing. He's like, well, it's an hour and 31 before the credits. It's like, okay, you're overselling. So I'm like, fine, for your birthday, buddy, and I really do like Giovanni. I like him as a person. I think he's very, very smart. He does a lot for the show. He does a lot for me personally. I really like that Giovanni. Maybe my favorite person I've never met that's in my life.
I was really proud about that.
So I'm like, it's the least we could do for Gio. Everything he does for us, I'll watch his goddamn Marvels.
We're actually giving the top 5 this week, so that's
and
kind of
top 5.
It's kind of a lot.
All right, well, his birthday is only one day, yeah.
What'd you do for my birthday?
I don't know if I did anything for you, Avery.
That is hurtful.
Yeah.
I'm warned.
Next time, let me know what horrible movie you'd like.
I wore black.
All right.
The original Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's why I watched the Marvels, and we had to call an audible, and we pushed Leif's assignment of Princess Mononoke to next week. So we'll be doing Princess Mononoke next week.
Mononoke.
and that's streaming on the
Want to
old
know?
HBO Max, or Max as they call it now, so they don't have to pay residuals, from what I understand.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Because HBO, I guess they have a different deal, and they're like, well, we're a different company now. We're called Max. Have you heard? Yeah, it's something along those lines. Okay. The Marvels, Brian, take it away.
Oh, I started and you rudely interrupted me. The Marvels is a film, 2023 film, directed by Nia DaCosta. She, the director of the recent Candyman movie.
Which I liked very much.
As did I.
Yeah. Excellent. It was excellent.
It's under 6. It's under 6 on IMDb.
Really?
It scores under 6, yes.
I'm surprised. That's a very good movie.
Proud Boys have a lot to say on IMDb. They like to come out and let their opinions be known without seeing movies.
This one, The Marvel, stars Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, Zayn Ashton, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
62% Rotten Tomatoes. This is in theaters now. I was thinking about The Marvels, and in the light of Gio's fawning thoughts on The Marvels. He did not text me, but we got an email detailing how much he enjoyed the movie and how delightful it was and fun. I'm always down for a film that's high in the fun scale. I don't know about you.
You invented the fun scale.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm always down for a high.
We've heard.
High in the fun scale film. So, in stark contrast,
For a man who loves fun so much, you exude so little.
yeah, I like to keep it inside. I don't understand. What's the problem?
Like a fine wine. It's bottled up.
Thank you. It's hard to decant me, and you'll get all the fun.
Decaying.
Decant.
Decaying.
That's really
The fun is decaying inside of you.
The
Brian.
fact that I'm being eaten alive by cancer, and the fact
All
that
right.
you said I'm decaying is really.
I do that. I don't know if you guys realize, but I keep score in my head how many jabs I can get in before he plays the cancer card. Usually I get 4 or 5, and then the cancer card comes out. Yeah.
Who was keeping track of how long it is before you yell at Brian that there was a timer?
I think that was Curtis.
Before he's abusive.
Yes.
I think it was Curtis Hilms.
We are
Hilms.
22 minutes into the show.
All right.
But you've already,
Yeah.
already
That ship has sailed. All right. Let's talk Marvels.
I was thinking about Giovanni's fawning assessment and contrasting during the movie. I'm contrasting this, not even during, really just afterwards. I'm like, what did I just see? And I realized that it stands in stark contrast to, of all things, Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon, if you recall, Anderson, my assessment is that it was a bad, good movie. Killers of the Flower Moon has all the hallmarks of a good movie. It's well shot, well acted, score is great. There's a lot of great elements about it. It's got the star power, it's got the director, the pedigree, all that stuff. But it makes such bizarre choices that there's bad things about it.
I've gotten a number of emails from listeners.
At the end of the day, I think it's still a good movie.
We misunderstood it.
This,
we did
however,
not appreciate the subtleties, and I admit all of that. I did not appreciate
the Marvels, however. Determined
plenty of ways to tell that story, Flower Moon, and that's not the way that I would have liked to have seen it. All right.
The Marvels, however, I determined to be a good, bad movie, which is this movie is a mess on many levels and has fundamental problems, like problems that can't be fixed. You know what I mean? Like
what?
Like, I estimate that this is a much longer movie at one point with a lot of exposition.
Okay, I think I know what you're picking up on.
And instead, the final product is a 1 hour and 45-minute movie that lacks a lot of explanation, a lot of context, and a lot of exposition. I really suspect this movie did poorly in previews, and the teen girls were like, "What the fuck? Why am I sitting around watching 2 hours and 20 minutes of talking and explaining? Let's get to the fucking cats." And that's what the movie is. The movie jumps in with very little what. Maybe I'm dim. Maybe this is explained somewhere, and I don't know. Just the fact, oh yeah, this thing on my wrist, this magical thing, my grandma gave it to me. That is very obviously filmed and explained at some point and completely disregarded in this movie.
Oh, you're getting emails.
I'm sure.
I had a preemptive conversation with Gio, and I said, I'm going to talk about the Marvels, okay? I don't want emails about it because I don't care about the gaps. I'm okay. So we talked a little bit about it beforehand, all right? Because I said, here's
maybe you can explain to me.
And here's the truth that I told Gio. I said, Gio, I love you. If you send me emails, I will feel bad. I will become enraged. I'm a poor reader. And then I will close it, and then I'll open it back up and spend 15 minutes reading the goddamn email and not really glean in anything that will help me in my life. But I will read it because I can't help myself. Because I feel like a dick if I don't. So please spare me of that. He's going to. So he says. But I'm sure that it's hard for him, right?
But you didn't say he can't text you.
That's
Do
true.
not texting. Texting is also off the table. Please, Gio. But what I was gathering. Okay,
Wait, back to my original point.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going to finish what you're talking about.
The good, bad movie. This movie has fundamental problems, and which can't be fixed. This is fundamentally a disaster in some ways, yet it is fun, and I did laugh a couple of times, and I found myself enjoying myself, and while I'm not excited to go back and revisit this, I don't feel like I wasted an hour and 44 minutes. Like it was fun, and it was the right amount of silliness, and it was the right amount of lightheartedness. The plot is absurd, and I don't know why. I'm still not sure what was happening.
The plots are always usually absurd. It's always the same thing with all these
They're
Marvel
always so
movies,
easy
right?
to follow. This one was like, wait. What does she want, and what does she have? What do they want from each other? What do they need?
It was just like the thing that will destroy the universe, and
Sure.
it's always the same thing. It's always it's evil versus good, and then there's some interplay between the good.
I'm saying that Marvel historically has done a very tight job of setting up the story, the stakes, the blah blah blah,
Listen,
and that was not the case here.
Yes, and you, but you're not letting me.
Okay, go ahead.
From what I understand, and Gio shut this down, but I still think that, oh God, it must be so hard for him not to send emails. I still feel
his fingers are reflexively typing.
there for you might not realize this, Brian, but on Disney Plus there is a Marvel series. I think it's a 6-part series.
Miss Marvel.
I was going to say how much of that is because you didn't see the TV.
Well, yeah, and I get a strong sense that without watching WandaVision, without watching the Marvel Miss Marvel or whatever it's called with Iman Vellani, with Kamala playing Kamala, I think that we are lost. I think we are lost, and I've been lost with things Marvel for quite some time now because I am not a Marvel head. I'm not a devoted fan. They are what they are. You know what I was doing the other day?
Tell me.
I was trying to imagine what movies would have looked like for the last 15 years if Marvel didn't exist. What would we have gotten?
There wouldn't be movies anymore.
That's what some people say, but I say no. People still are looking to go to theaters to watch something to escape. It just wouldn't have been Marvel. It would have been something else. I wonder what that would have been. DC? What if comic books were just taken on the equation? All right, so CGI just ruined fucking cinema. All right.
It'd be the Universal Cinematic Universe with their Invisible Man and the Mummy.
Oh my God, it could have been. Yeah, maybe cinema would be dead. Maybe theaters would be.
What if Iron Man sucked?
You see the new Wolfman coming out?
Oh, Jesus Christ. But the Invisible Man fucking tight.
It was tight.
Blumhouse. Sure. Invisible Man. Kate. I almost called her Kate Moss. Elizabeth Moss.
That's right.
All right. Hey.
She's no Kate Bishop.
Like she saved Jersey? Oh, I didn't know that. Shouldn't we? And I'm like, oh, they must have covered that in the TV show. Giovanni says no, they kind of made mention of it or something. I don't know. Why are they estranged? Why is Miss Marvel and her friend estranged? I was confused by that. I think that was from the first Miss Marvel. I don't know.
Yeah, they being the filmmakers are really counting on people being familiar with backstory because.
But they are. Usually they are, I think.
They don't give you a lot in this.
So I was confused, but I really didn't care. I mean, they were spending a little more time on it than I would have liked, but it's like, all right, let's get to the story. We know that, there's going to be a bad guy. There's the bad guy, bad lady in this sense. And we know that the good guys are going to prevail. I mean, it's always the same paint by fucking number. That's the problem. Now, how are they going to tell the story? I equate it to like different skins, right? Or different like patterns.
Sure.
Right? Different motifs.
Covering the same self.
It's the same fucking story over and over and over, but with different motifs. Sometimes they go really big and really hard with like Civil War, and then you got the end game, and it was like huge stakes. And we got everyone involved, and then when they do the little offshoots like this is the ladies' version. This is the female empowerment version. That said, I liked all three of the leads quite a bit, and I had no idea how much I was going to like Kamala. Kamala was fucking great.
She was fun.
And I thought she was Hispanic. I didn't know she was Indian. That's how little I fucking know.
Avery,
That's how little I already
that.
called her Hispanic a couple weeks ago because I thought that this whole time I thought that she was a Hispanic character. I did not know she's a very Indian character. I love the cut of this girl's jib. She is fucking great. I want to see her in everything, not wearing capes, not flying about. I want to see her in other shit. She's got it. Like, she is so much fun. Brie is always great. It's always a little bit sad to see her kind of lost in this Marvel unit. Yeah.
Well, she's also in Fast and Furious.
I know. When we had her on Loveline, I don't know if it was on air, but I remember talking to her. I think it might have been off air, and she was like saying that she's only interested in doing small indie movies. Like, this is long before, Marvel came out. She said she loves doing independent movies, and she only wants to do like small independent movies, and she has no interest in doing the big ones.
Did you ask to cast her in your film?
No, I did not ask to cast her in anything, Brian. But I mean, I remember thinking like I like this girl a lot, and then now here she is. I mean, you dangle that carrot. It's tough.
She could have played Carano in Cult of Carano.
Tiana Paris was.
Hey, it's nice. Was Third House in Hawaii.
As good as well, and there's a lot of very clever. The cats actually were fine. They actually used. There was some cleverness and fun to be had with the cats, even though technically I can't make any sense of it as to how that would work.
Don't think about it too much.
But
it's like time travel. It all falls apart.
There's a planet that they go to where their language is song, which is a lot of fun. That was a whole lot of fun. That. And then the prince starts speaking, and she's like, yeah, he's bilingual. Like, they can't understand you unless you're singing. They could have even had a little more fun with that, I think. But that was great. Like, there was a lot of fun here. It was, I would say it's right in the middle for Marvel movies with me. It's short enough that I can digest it. I enjoyed watching it. There was really no surprises other than the clever bits here and there. The fact that it's just getting pummeled is a bit absurd. It's ridiculous.
It is and it isn't, because I still go back to the fact that I think it's fundamentally flawed, but it is fun. It is an enjoyable.
There has not been one Marvel movie that I've seen in the last 10 years that I haven't been like, okay, so why that? Because I don't watch everything. I don't read everything. I'm not like a well adept.
I feel like Marvel goes out of its way to like spoon feed the details, the origin story. Like I would
the earlier ones, but once it got rolling, they're like, all right, we got them.
I see what you're saying.
Like Iron Man and the first Iron Man, like I knew exactly what was going
on.
You're
right.
But since then, like they're like, okay, now we got this whole
Endgame,
universe. Once Disney got involved, it's like, okay, you gotta like do all this, like read the Cliff Notes. And do like these abridged versions on the side, and then come. They're not even abridged versions because they're full fucking series. You got to watch
longer than movies.
You got to watch Loki and WandaVision, and like I'm not doing that.
Loki's pretty tight.
I'm not doing any of that. No.
Loki and WandaVision, I can stand behind.
Guess what, Avery? There's a lot of tight things in the world that aren't cape wearing. A lot of tight things.
Actually, I think you only see maybe one cape in Loki in season 2.
I can't. It's pretty good. If Atticus was a little bit older and he was into it, maybe I'd follow along with him because it's a way to kill an afternoon.
I will see you on the fact that I don't know why this is getting pummeled. It's like this is no better or worse than a number of Marvel movies. I don't know why it's
just getting ugly. And now they're saying that Marvel is done. They're not going to be producing as many. And a lot of it's because this is failing so hard. And then they're going to say that it's because misogyny is coming into play. Like this has nothing. If you have female characters, if they're good, great. If you have male characters, they're good, fucking great. These characters were really good. These are characters that I enjoyed spending time with. And they were funny. And they had great interplay. They had great chemistry.
Yeah.
The moms were fun. Some of the stuff was goofy. Some of the bad guys with their little they looked like Judge Dredd. That was questionable. And I would like to do a quick spoiler with you because I have a real tough time with the ending. Talking about things that just don't make sense.
You're talking about the mid-credit sequence?
Ending. Oh, no, I don't even remember what that is.
That was actually pretty cool.
Gio told me I was going to cry, and I did not. What? Yeah, you can remind me of that too in the spoiler. Okay. Did you really?
I mean, maybe.
What? I'm having a hard time even remembering what that first. There was no end credits.
Someone ends up in an alternate universe.
Still not ringing.
I can't get me much more than that.
I have this horrible thing, and I shouldn't have. How some people are bad with names. I'm bad with ends of movies. Like I could see a movie and I won't remember how it ended. Like the next day.
That's not good.
Later that day.
You host a movie show.
I know, but usually the endings are so tacked on, and they don't know how to end most movies anyways, so they're not usually good.
Which is what I kind of like about. I've been watching more 70s movies. I like that they just end it.
They just end, yeah.
The whole sequence will play out. This certain character will die, the other one lives, and then they go, that's it?
Yeah.
Chinatown's kind of the ultimate example.
Yeah.
It's
no, that's a perfect ending.
We're all done.
Like,
walk away.
That's a perfect ending. It sums
everything
up.
It is, but in terms of like the arc of events, it's like, all right, that happened. We're just going to walk away.
20 seconds of credits, get out, we're done. That's how it ended.
Yeah,
it's
the 20 seconds of credits were pretty great.
It's just, okay, I guess, all right, we're done.
Speaking of done, we're done with the Marvels.
Feels like that last scene, which you want to talk about, was supposed to be a mid-credits scene. Like it was supposed to be.
No, I don't think you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the climax of the movie.
Okay. I heard about when she meets another
and
girl.
The decision to do it at that time. I want to talk to you about it. All right. One of the more confusing than Killer of the Flower Moon, as far as like what.
There's nothing
it's so
confusing
obvious.
about that.
It's so obvious.
Oh, I see.
Like, I'm confused by the fact that they made Killers of the Flower Moon the way they did because it's so. All right, enough beating up on the old killers.
You're getting shrapnel at this point.
Take a quick little break.
What are we taking a break for?
You finally let that joke go last week, and
you
now
think
you're
it's
bringing
a
it back.
joke?
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson was fucking tight in this too. Really liked him as Nick Fury. It was one of his better renditions of Nick Fury ever.
He was all right.
He was over everything. He was like, oh, fuck.
He really he seemed like Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon.
A little bit like I'm too old for this shit.
Right.
Yeah,
surrogate for the audience.
kind of, maybe.
Didn't we do this already? All right, coming up next, more Fanflickssions dream scenario after this.
One set of rules for yourself, another set for everybody else. When I was 21, I bought my first handgun, shiny black.
All right, we're back. You want to talk dream scenario?
You want to get rid of the dream or killer?
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the killer.
Do you want to do killer then?
Sure.
Take it away.
I already saw the film.
Oh,
plus that's
Jesus.
a couple
The
weeks
Killer.
ago.
Directed by David Fincher. It's a new film. It came out in theaters a few weeks ago. Brian caught up with it wisely, smartly. I probably should have. I did not. I said,
Oh, you saw it? You saw it at home?
I saw it at home. This is directed by David Fincher, written in part by Andrew Kevin Walker. They're reunited. Not for the first time.
Team.
For the first time since.
He did Gone Girl, didn't he, or one of those?
Andrew Kevin Walker.
No, I thought it was
7 is the last time I think they worked together.
Oh, I thought no. Then I was wrong. I apologize.
I
got off to a bad start.
I gave you.
The Killer's 2023
Andrew
film,
Kevin
directed by
Walker
David Fincher,
also wrote 8mm.
written by Andrew Kevin Walker, the team behind 7, starring Michael Fassbender as the titular killer. This is 89%, last I checked a couple weeks ago, on Rotten Tomatoes. This was in theaters, and as of a few days ago, streaming on Netflix. Number 1 on my fall preview, and now it is here in front of us. What was your experience watching The Killer?
All right, this is the most David Fincher tone I think you could imagine since 7, probably. It just feels like Fincher, and the tone is nailed and consistent.
I think The Curious Case of Ben Button probably up there.
I can't tell if you're joking around.
Keep going.
You're making little jokes?
Keep going.
Was that a little joke?
I don't joke on this show.
Because there's nothing funny
I
about
talk
it.
about film.
So, speaking of funny, I'll get there in a second. The Killer, so you realize the opening title sequence is like one of the greatest things you've ever seen.
Dude, Fincher,
if 7 didn't exist.
Fincher loves his opening
excellent.
title sequences.
Without 7, I'd be like, this might be one of my favorite opening title sequences, but instead, because of 7, I'm like, oh my God, this is just making me remember 7's opening title sequences, and I want to go back and watch that.
The opening title sequence was the best part of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
So early on, the tone is nailed, and we learn that we're getting this view inside the mind of a killer who
A hitman,
but he's just very analytical. He's probably on the spectrum. He doesn't care about human life. He just sees everything as like he explains population. He explains how many people are born each minute, how many people die each second, all that. So it's all just numbers to him, and it's just survival of the fittest, and he's going to make his life as secure as possible by any means. And he has this mantra.
He's methodical.
This is based on a graphic novel from a couple decades ago as well. I think it was the 90s. Anyway,
Sure.
So this is the viewpoint, which is not the first time this has been done, but it's the first time it's been done by David Fincher in this sense. And
it's like Fincher's take on Grosse Point Blank.
it was okay. That's fine if we got a little bit more into. My problem with it, I think, is we didn't get into just how pathological and insane this man was, or crazy. Like,
Why do you think he's insane?
I mean, anyone who is this lacks this much empathy is not, he's not a human being. This is not a human being.
No, I agree with you, but I think we're saying two different things. Which is I don't think he's insane. I do think he lacks empathy.
Insane might be the wrong word, but he is psychologically very either damaged or was born missing some DNA that makes all of us empathetic creatures.
I feel like it's more the latter, was the impression I got.
And we didn't get into that more. In fact, that was muddled and confused when he has so much empathy and care for his loved one, which was kind of just a plot point. Right?
But I think that's kind of narcissism,
girlfriend.
where it's, you did this to me. I must right this wrong. This is disrespectful.
There is that, but I think that they could have maybe I want some more spoon feeding. Maybe like he could have had some more, because we get to hear his inner thoughts throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have heard some more like offbeat takes on things. Some more like, this man is not well. He looks at the world much differently than I do. And I didn't get that. In fact, they're even trying to get us to like go along with some of his humor, which I found very off-putting. Like his, like, what would John Wilkes Booth do? Like that was supposed to be hilarious. And it wasn't. Like side effects, losing fur or something was one of the side effects when he drugged one of the dogs, and it was supposed to be very funny. And it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, I don't need bad humor right here.
It played better in the theater.
Did it?
Did,
Yeah.
Did you now? Was your viewing experience compromised by the fact that Avery and I liked this movie quite a bit?
No, I was ready to dive in. Guys, I have to. Anyone listening to, please, I can't help but if you love a movie, I don't want to like it, but I will if I can't help it. A movie I'll either respond to it or not. This one, I would have if there was something for me to really, if there was another a character or two that was a little more lively. Like it was just too kind of like icky and all the way through, but then it was supposed to be funny. It was like cool guy, and I really appreciate the filmmaking. The tone was great, and I even appreciated some of the needlessly elaborate levels that it goes to. I mean, this is so over the top. There's no hitman, there's no professional, there's no person in the world that has this much paranoia and adheres to the paranoid thoughts as much as I've seen in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just as an example, he lets us know how many storage spaces there are in the country, somewhere towards 1 million or something, and he owns 6 of them. And then, so he has little different drop spots in different places in the country. And he goes into one, and it's just so meticulously, it's a storage space, and it's so meticulously organized, and he'll just like open a file, and there'll be, I don't know, 25, 30 different Ziploc bags, like envelopes, like see-through envelopes with passports, watches,
handguns,
cash,
and money.
and it's like it's so over the top with that, which I appreciate.
I loved it.
I thought it was kind of fun.
And the social engineering I really found gratifying. All that I thought was very interesting of how he would approach, I need to get into this building and get to this person. How do I do it? In a very realistic way, he does it. Because in a lot of movies, you'll see, he'll rappel down the roof and he'll throw in a smoke grenade.
No, he just does what you and I would do.
Yeah, or how you would accomplish that as the layman.
Throughout the movie, I was like, he reminds me of somebody. Who's like his voice sounds like, and then it occurred to me, it's Michael Fassbender doing an American accent, and Frank. He sounded like Frank.
Yes.
Which is one of my all-time favorites. I love that Frank when he's doing the paper mache head. He sounded so much like Frank, which was where the Smiths worked there, the soundtrack worked there, but was it supposed to be funny? Is that what they were going for? Was it a joke?
Maybe lighthearted, but not funny.
I think just a contrast.
Is this weird?
This is a solid 4-star movie. It could have been a 5-star, like absolute, like love this movie if either he was more, and this is a personal thing, I get that, but I just don't want to spend any more time with this guy or with the people he's killing, Like, the Q-Tip might have been my favorite character. She had a lot of spunk, but she's not around much.
What did you think of, without spoiling it, the ending? Because I found it realistic, but very unsatisfying.
I wanted to talk about that maybe in the spoilers, too, because I don't know what they're suggesting there. Like, what are they suggesting? That we're all...
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe discuss, the three of us can do a quick spoiler on that.
If they nailed the ending for me, I think it would have been a solid 4-star movie. They kind of brought it down to 3.5 for me. It's weird. It's a weird thing where I fully bought the ending but didn't like it. I feel like that's pretty rare with movies. Either I don't like the ending because usually I don't like it because it
are you talking about the
through.
Climactic? The back and forth. Yeah, the high rise or the denouement.
No, the high rise.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section, I guess. But
what about the score? What did you think of the score?
The score was great, and I kept hearing you in my head saying that it sounds like 2 cell phones underwater rubbing against each other. Which, you know what, 9 Inch Nails has been doing that kind of thing for a while. So Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have been fucking around with that kind of experimenting with the medium. But yeah, they really seem to be free to do what they wanted to do with this, and it worked. It really added to that tone. But
you almost don't even notice it until it gets quieter, where it's just really just there to kind of fuck with you and subtly make it more disturbing.
Yeah, and it gets more off the rails as the movie progresses, too, which is supposed to be like his downward spiral, which I guess it kind of was. He was a bit unhinged. I think that part of it is, it reminded me of 2 movies that I absolutely love, but it was far from both of those. And that's A Clockwork Orange with the narration and the voiceover of this bad person. It's not even an anti-hero. This is the antagonist
He's
in
a bad
many
dude.
stories, right? He's a bad person.
Yeah.
Same with Alex and Clockwork Orange. And you hear the narration, so you have that feeling like, oh, but they're talking directly to me, so I'm part of this. And it's almost like they're my friend.
Yeah.
Type thing. And then also Seven. It felt so much like Seven, but it's far from Seven. So that was the biggest problem for me was that it just kept reminding me of these two movies that I absolutely love, and this movie doesn't come close to
those are
either
very
one.
different tones. Obviously, I don't think I'm making.
Seven's not a different tone. I'd say Seven is a very, very similar tone. Yeah.
Huh.
Seven?
Seven's darker and more overtly disturbing.
Yeah.
This one should have been, I think, with the subject matter and what it's
disagree.
suggesting.
I think it's kind of more disturbing the fact that it's not. That it's just, hey, I'm going to order these things on Amazon to help me kill someone. Is very disturbing. And that he's using everyday objects. It's not like he's this mythical supervillain. It's, this could be a guy theoretically in my neighborhood who's just
it's
has
an
these
indictment
skills
of
to do that.
technology and how we're all capable of getting whatever we need in the moment. If you put your brain to it, you can do it. But I would have liked it more if it went one way or the other. I think if they had more fun with it and the jokes were better and he was a little bit more like unhinged, or if it was even darker and like.
I'm also surprised. I think it could have been even more disturbing if they would have done a little bit of integrating social media, like that aspect of how people do that all the time to see how someone's on vacation. Or that they own this thing, go onto a post, find that, and use that to get into.
When was he?
I think that could have added a little level to it, but then again, there weren't too many characters he was going after that would fall into that category. But
I think ultimately, Anderson, you and I are saying the same thing, which is I found it to be a 4-star movie too. Not amazing, but very good.
Yeah, it's very good, and it's kind of a bummer that it was on Netflix. I would have rather have seen this in the theater. That said, if people were laughing at the bad jokes, it might have made me like it less because those jokes were just kind of.
Well, the elevator scene with the trash can,
the dead body,
landed very well in the theater. Yes,
it was okay.
Quite a laugh.
Yeah, at home.
this episode of Storage Wars.
Yeah, see, like that kind of thing. I don't know. That bugged me. It bugged me by myself on my couch, like the Storage Wars thing.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, look, he's one of us. He's familiar with Storage. I can't imagine that man ever watching Storage Wars. I can't imagine him watching TV.
Yeah.
I can imagine him listening to the Smiths and closing his eyes and thinking about his next kill for days.
Man needs a schedule.
But yeah, I do like the movie. It's a victim of movies that came before it that were better, which isn't fair. But this is a solid 4-star movie. I don't see him, being a contender for the Vaulties at the end of the year. I don't, it's not going to be up for awards except for maybe cinematography, that kind of thing.
Where does it fall for you in the Fincher-verse?
Yeah, it is probably, top third Fincher.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Top third?
Yeah.
You think this is better than the game?
Oh, yeah.
You think it's better
Well,
than...
I got big problems with the game.
You think it's better than...
You jump
Panic...
left instead of right,
you
and the
think
game is...
You think it's
just,
better than Panic Room?
No, I'm not saying that. In Panic Room, this, 7...
Social Network?
Social Network?
Social Network. I mean, how many is it?
He has 10 films.
All right,
like 10 or 11.
Top. It's right there in the middle. It's like probably number 6.
Interesting.
Number 5,
I
6.
kind of think so, too.
Yeah.
I have it down like...
Bad Traveling is that.
Bad Traveling's right.
One of my favorites he's ever done, and
I
it's
have
a
it at
short.
the top of the bottom tier, which is just ahead of Mank, Gone Girl, and Dragon Tattoo. It's good.
I said 6, so we're right there. I don't know why you're getting so upset. I said 3rd. I thought he had more movies under his belt, and I was wrong.
We're in agreement.
Yeah. It's good. What's the message here? What are we trying to say? Oh, and I did some research.
Well, that's where the ending lost me. The ending made me not sure of what they're trying to say.
I think let's talk about that. We'll bounce some ideas around.
Loved his outfit though. Real douche. Real rich guy douche.
I liked him. I like that guy. Reminded me of Bryan.
I thought his outfit was great. I kind of wanted it.
You liked his what?
His outfit. I kind of wanted it.
Yeah. I mean, you would look cool in that outfit.
I would. Thank you very
Drapey
much.
clothes.
And then you'd ask him about it. You're like, oh, sub pop guy. He's like, what are you talking about?
What?
What are you referring to?
Palp?
He's wearing a sub pop. Hoodie, which really was a really good detail.
Yeah, big fan of Early Nirvana.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what that means.
The overt product placement. I was trying to get more info on that, and I did not have a whole lot of luck.
That's got to be a Netflix thing, yeah.
I don't know.
It weirdly took me out, even though it should have made it feel more realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was odd because
that is strange. It's like we're conditioned
to not ever see it. So when you do, it's feels
especially
fake.
in that light. I mean, FedEx, Amazon, and
I think he was trying to go with it's even more disturbing because this is your world.
Accessible to
that you're
all
living
of us.
in.
It is your world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It's pretty much what I thought I would get out of it, or what I hoped I would get out of it, which is good, very good. But okay,
All right. We want to wrap it up with Dream Scenario?
yeah.
Dream Scenario is a film that is in theaters now. It is written and directed by Christoph Borgli. He is a European filmmaker. Funny connection, I guess I'll just say it right now. I had misunderstood the assignment earlier in the week. And I had watched what I thought was being assigned to us, which is a movie called Sick of Me. And I watched it, and
We're watching that for Chad.
we're watching it
We're
eventually.
seeing that. Yeah,
But I misunderstood it. I thought we were watching it for this week. Watched it. Turns out we're not doing it this week. So I'm like, oh, that was a waste. And this whole time I'm watching Dream Scenario, Anderson. You've not seen Sick of Me, right?
no,
The whole time I'm like, this reminds me of a movie I just saw.
it's the same director.
Did not realize till I got home to the research, same writer and director as the film we'll be talking about next week or the week after.
I like that. You go back and you watch the director, the previously unheard of director's previous work.
Yeah, I watched it before.
This shit, I know. I gathered that from everything you said. Also, what you told me earlier in the week as well. So I have double confirmation that you've seen it before.
Sick of Me.
He saw it before.
The Killer is the graphic novel apparently was released like in the 2009 is when Volume 1 was released.
Okay.
Just to let everyone know, as far as
It's
social
French,
media.
right? Am I crazy?
Don't ask me questions.
Le Killer.
Luc Jacquemont did the art. So Matz, M-A-T-Z is the author. That's all he goes
Important
by.
detail.
M-A-T-Z. He has no last name, Brian.
That is Mickelson.
Matz, M-A-T-Z.
Is it Mickelson?
No, it has nothing to do with Mad Mikkelsen, which that's how you pronounce Mad. You don't pronounce the S, and Mads Mikkelsen, but I don't like that as much.
Not like how
Go with Mads.
Mads is badass.
Go with Mads, Mad.
Can I get back to Dream Scenario?
Let's do Dream Scenario. Let's talk more about it.
Nicolas Cage, Julianne Nicholson, Michael Cera, Tim Meadows, Dylan Galula, and Dylan Baker is also in this. 91% Rotten Tomatoes. It's in theaters now. Anderson, what is the last thing you saw on the screen? The last name.
Oh, should I get it right there?
Yes.
Right now? Okay. So production companies a lot of the time will put together an LLC just for a particular production, right? So a lot of the time the LLC is just the name of the movie. This one, the LLC, this movie was created by Poltergeist Pictures LLC.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Poltergeist. Sorry. Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
That is very fucking clever.
Not bad.
Very funny.
Not bad.
Because
The
Dream
character's name
Scenario
is Paul.
is his name is Paul, and he just inexplicably starts showing up in everyone's dreams. And at first it's just very benign, and then it goes in different directions.
So I was describing this to Christy.
Poltergeist LLC is fucking
That's
tight.
good.
I was just by myself laughing like that is fucking good.
So you stuck around for quite a while.
I stuck around through the whole all the credits.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
I got problems with this movie.
So let me.
I really like it though.
I was let me just set up the movie. I was describing it to Christy last night because I'd seen it yesterday.
How nice that she allows you to do
Yeah,
that.
I know. We're going to dinner. It's a long drive. We're going to fucking deep Hollywood. And she's like, "Oh, how was the movie today?" I'm like, "Well," she's like, "What's it about?" I'm like, "Well, it's about this guy, Nicolas Cage, plays kind of a schlub. He's a sad sack."
He's a sad sack. He's the most average man you can imagine, maybe even subpar.
Well, the sad thing is, by any objective measure, he's made it, right? He's a tenured college professor. Mm-hmm. He's an expert in evolutionary biology, and yet he is constantly judging himself against his peers who have gone on to do like research and are publishing papers and theories, and he's feels very inadequate, right? He's got a beautiful home, a huge home, lovely wife, 2 adorable daughters, but all he can think of is how inadequate he is.
He's observing those around him more than he's doing.
Indeed. So a strange thing starts to happen one day. People start...
Which is, by the way, that's very, very bright. That's very intelligent. That's a very smart way to write this character. I mean, it all interweaves. There's a lot of really great subtext going on here.
This is a very well-written movie.
What he's doing, what he's not doing, what's going on with our culture today, what's happening with social media, with memes.
We'll get there.
Viral, and all cancel culture, all of that is in this man and in this movie.
We'll get there. So the strange thing starts to happen to him one day. Strangers, people he knows, and then random strangers start to say, I know you. Where do I know you from? You were in my dream. It was so weird. You were in my dream. I dreamt about you. And he's like, this very ordinary, sad sack of a balding, pudgy gentleman says,
he's got the crown. He's got the cul-de-sac.
He's got the Friar Tuck. And he's like, oh, really? What did I do? Nothing. You were just standing.
You were in my dream, and you did not. It opens up with a really fun dream. I don't know if fun's the right word, but it's just him raking the leaves, which we've all seen. It's on the poster. And he's raking the leaves by the pool in the backyard, and his daughter's sitting out there. And all of a sudden, the glass table she's sitting at on the patio shatters, and it's jarring. And she looks, and some keys had fallen from the sky and shattered the glass. And next thing you know, a shoe falls in the pool, and she's all scared. And she's like, Dad, what's going on? And he's like, it's fine, honey. And he's just raking the leaves. Yeah. And then a body falls into the pool, right? And it doesn't show us, but there's blood like now seeping into the pool, and he's still doing nothing. His daughter starts floating up. And she's like, Dad, please help me. And he's just kind of watching her as he rakes. So he's very upset that he's doing nothing in these dreams as he hears that these dreams are happening.
As the plot evolves, or the story evolves over the first couple minutes, he's like, well, what am I doing in the dream? There's nothing. You're just standing there. He's like, oh, I'd like to be doing something. Like he's very... This is a man who is very consumed with his inadequacies.
Yes.
Even in dreams.
That's all he thinks about. Which can drive people to do things sometimes, but not this man. His life has gotten away from him. And I think a lot of people can probably, relate to this. A lot of people can relate to this everyman.
He's fairly ineffectual. He lectures at a very boring class that has 15 enrollees. You know what I mean? Like he's a college professor.
Yeah. Yeah,
when he should be, in his mind, doing greater things.
Well, yeah, a lot of the time, those who can't do teach, and it's that whole trope. And he's talking about evolution and blending in and zebras. Keeps going back to zebras. Zebras is a recurring theme where the stripes are not about camouflaging in nature, but camouflaging within the herd, because you don't want to stand out. You want to be part of the herd so that the lion won't pick on just you. They can't tell which zebra's which. Which all plays into the subtext of this movie.
What goes on in the second act.
Right.
And so before long, more and more people start to see him in their dreams doing nothing. And his class becomes popular, and he becomes kind of a celebrity.
Yeah, he becomes a celebrity.
Becomes a reality, they allude to it, like the weirdest kind of celebrity, where you're known, but not known for anything.
And it's how would you react to that? How would the average person react to showing up into people's dreams? Like, would they be happy about it? Would they be off-put by it, especially coming from a science background? Would they be mystified by it? And you learn so much about this character and what his actions are, which is smash cut to him doing the very first interview that is presented to him. He just cannot wait to get out in front of it and say hello to the world. He loves it.
Even before that, he is so delighted that more students have shown up to his class.
That was right after the...
was it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he is delighted.
Remember
he was
they
like,
applauded when he walked in?
Yeah, and he's like, well, we're supposed to be talking about biology, but
ask me anything for the first 5 minutes and I'll answer, right?
And it becomes the whole class.
The whole class is him just answering questions. But he quickly learns that every single student in his class, they have the same dream of him doing nothing. And like a lot of the time they're in peril, which is fun because you get the filmmaker gets to play with Now I thought that they're going to be playing with, is this a dream? Is this not a dream? More than they did. I'm kind of happy that did not happen.
Me too.
And you can actually, if you're watching closely, the dreams were shot in film or made to look like they were shot in film, whereas the rest of the film is not. So little clues like that. But ultimately, I don't know how much more we talk about it beyond that, because the movie starts to take turns.
Yeah.
And I think that we'd be, giving, there's a lot to discover here. This movie's only limited.
I'll
I think more and more
say
people will watch this.
There's a theme of careful what you wish for, which is he is enamored with his newfound celebrity, but he starts to do things in dreams.
Yes. We can leave it at that. It's also a great rendition of character unraveling, once again, which is a theme that we both respond to. I think we really like to see.
Indeed.
There are a couple. I'd like to do a spoiler on this one, too. There are a couple things
We're not spoiling it.
Yeah, we're spoiling this. We're going to spoil all. There's one scene in particular that really I never recovered from, and I would like to cover that. It has to do with flatulence. And
I thought about you.
It's not even about the flatulence part. It's about his decisions in that moment. While that might have been honest, it made it really hard for me to care at all what happened that minute.
Really?
Yeah.
That did it for you?
Well, I mean, what he was doing. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll spoil it. We'll spoil it. Okay, 'cause
All
I
right.
definitely want to talk about
It's
that.
definitely a character-driven plot. Like everything comes from the decisions of the characters, specifically Paul, Nicolas Cage. Everything you said earlier, I actually wrote down. Like this movie touches on cancel culture, snowflakes, internet celebrity, meme culture, influencers, reality stars.
Dream House.
If there's
So douchey. And you know who's gonna love this movie is Avery. Avery will love this movie.
I'm going to see it tomorrow.
You
already
will
have my
absolutely-
ticket.
You're gonna like this movie quite a bit. I think a lot of our audience will really love this movie.
If I have a quibble, and I'm quibbling because this is a good movie. If I have a quibble, it's that maybe there's a little too many. It's a good problem to have. There's too many ideas in this movie.
Yeah,
where
it does
it's
feel like that.
It's a little scattershot, and I would have preferred it to be laser focused. But
That's
it's
kind of the
about
world,
dreams.
though, right?
So what?
That's kind of the world, and then like
Yeah,
he
you're
was
right.
put in this position where all these different things that are happening in the world are all happening to him at the same time.
It's a
if it
good
was just
problem to
one
have.
thing. It is.
Usually movies don't have enough ideas. This one is brimming with ideas.
So we're going to be watching. We're going to be reviewing "Sick of Myself," which is the film that he made right before this one.
Yes.
Came out just a couple years ago. We'll be talking about that one next week, thanks to Chad Ice. Excited to talk to you
So,
about that.
like
one.
I said, I watched it unbeknownst that the same director made Dream
Yeah, so
Scenario.
you're going to do this a third time now?
I will simply say, as part of
I
a
didn't know that.
pre-flexion, laughed quite a bit.
Sick. Oh,
Laughed quite a bit.
Sick of Myself? You laughed?
It is a dark comedy,
Okay, I love those.
but
We all know that.
there are. It is socially awkward, but also very precise. It is a chuckle fest.
Molly.
Some good laughs.
Molly, the one who we're gonna spoil her scene when in the spoilers only for Patreon. It was bugging me. I knew her so well. I'm like, what do I know her from?
Shithouse.
Shithouse. She was
Yeah.
the girl in Shithouse, which another movie that we both liked quite a bit. So, Dream Scenario. Another thing that I really like about Dream Scenario is it's hard to put just any old genre on this. I mean, at times it's mystery, at times it's thriller, at times it's definitely horror. It's
definitely comedy
It's comedic throughout. There are many, many funny moments in this movie. And,
It's absurd. It's surrealist.
it's definitely surrealist, which they're allowed to because of the
nature of
the nature
story,
of
yeah.
the dreams and whatnot. They didn't go too heavy in the dreams, which I appreciated too. I was afraid that they're going to go down some kind of surrealist, like look at how artsy we are, but they didn't do that. Nicolas Cage was fairly reserved throughout. He had a couple moments of flare-ups, and I think he was effective. And his pokey voice came out a little bit, especially when he was
What's
really
the pokey voice?
his Pokey and Gumby. Gumby and Pokey.
He was Gumby.
Pokey is the horse,
Yeah.
right? And he's got a very particular voice. Sounds kind of
Okay.
like, and that's the voice that Nicolas Cage brought to Peggy Sue
I did not know that.
getting married.
Oh.
And
Yes, I was thinking Peggy Sue a couple times.
so in Peggy Sue, he showed up to set, and Francis Ford Coppola was the director. This is back when he was still trying to make it as an actor. Nicolas Cage was, and he was kind of known as an actor who took very large chances on every project. And on this particular project, Peggy Sue, he showed up and he's like, "Here's how I'm going to do the voice. It's going to be," and it didn't really fit the character at all. But somehow he got his way, and he did Pokey throughout the whole fucking movie, and I could hear it a couple times, especially when he was very vulnerable, and which is many times in the movie, and he's just embarrassed and the shame this man has throughout at times. It's a very interesting character study of every man in today's world. This particular everyman in his age and what he was trying to accomplish. Good stuff. Yeah.
Enjoyable.
Could have been workshop, could have been tightened up, could have been like one of those like all-time great movies, I think. But it's independent and a little rough around the edges, which also works, right?
Sure. It's good. It's a solid
very
movie. I would not be shocked to see this up for best screenplay. Original.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either. I wouldn't.
Fist the mold.
Yeah. A lot to like here. Dream Scenario. Mark it, dude. Mark it.
And tune in next time for us. Are we talking about Sick of Me next week?
Oh my God, are we doing this again?
Because I watched it without knowing.
Did you watch it before you saw Dream
I
Scenario?
did, actually.
Yeah, we're going to do Sick of Myself for Chad Eyes. We're going to do
Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke for Leif. And I think we're finally going to cover Anatomy of a Fall, which I saw, which a lot to like there. A whole lot to like with that Anatomy of a Fall. That will definitely be up for Best Foreign Language film or international film.
We'll see.
I can't imagine it not being.
We'll see.
So yeah, and who knows what else we talk about next week? But it'll be a good week next week, guys.
What comes out in theaters on Friday? Shoot.
That's what Avery tells us at the end of the episode, Brian.
Well, I'm looking around.
That's true. I've got a good day lined up tomorrow. I'm seeing Dream Scenario, and then at night I'm seeing The Holdovers.
Oh, you're seeing
it again.
You're seeing it again?
Yeah.
You going by yourself?
No, going with a group for The Holdovers.
Oh, that's uncomfortable though. Like when they're like, "What the fuck is this movie, Avery?"
No,
dragged
no.
us to.
This might be a good week to skip.
It's gonna be good.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts on Dream Scenario next week. You're proxy for the audience.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, most of the time. A lot of the time.
This week we have 3 films opening wide. The new Trolls movie, which I know you'll be at.
High on the fun scale.
Hunger Games, the prequel.
Hunger Games. Hungry
Games.
I'm a hungry gamer.
And Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Fuck, the Hunger Games trailer is brutal. Brutal.
Yeah, all those movies are so going to be missed by me, and I am so excited.
Might be a good week to talk an Admiral Fall.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, top 5 time. Top 5 movies you recall seeing as a child. Yeah, we're back. Time to go over, take a trip down memory lane, Anderson. Talk about some movie watching experiences of our youth.
Is that gray?
The sun's shining right on you.
Yeah, I think it's just blonde. I'm looking at my hair in the
First
video.
How dare you?
I don't have gray hair.
What I wouldn't give for gray hair.
Hey, I want the listeners to know, no matter where you live in the world, I'm sure you heard about our freeway situation over here.
It's not good.
It's worldwide news at this point.
The president was briefed.
Absurd.
Yeah. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'll spend the extra time to get down to Bryan to do the film vault.
Oh, it's nowhere near you. How dare you?
What do you mean?
Nowhere near.
You know how much traffic was impacted this morning?
Nowhere near you. Is it really?
Yeah. The 10 freeway is the one that shut down. Everything, the domino effect, everything is completely fucked right now.
I thought we were doing a remote show up until
I know, you just assumed it was going to be remote. I'm like, no, can't let the show suffer. Next week we'll be doing a remote show. Because of you.
Because of me.
Yeah.
Like gallivanting.
You're gallivanting.
Unless you want to drive down to Orange County, which I can't imagine you want to do.
Oh, I thought you were going for like your dad's memorial or something. You're just going on vacation?
That's the week after.
Jesus Christ,
There's a
Brian.
lot of shit coming up.
Great. Fantastic. All right, let's get into Happy Birthday to You. Happy birthday to you.
I don't know, because we... that's right, because
Happy
for
birthday to Giovanni.
Giovanni's 40th birthday, we...
40th?
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking Giovanni.
I think we gave him
spring chicken.
the opportunity to assign us top 5, and he came through with a very interesting topic. Top 5 movies you recall seeing as a child.
Seeing as a child.
Yeah, seeing as a child. And these are movies that have specific stories attached, maybe time and place, what you were doing, where you were, et cetera, et cetera. So I've got a few. I'll wax. Oh, that'd be wax. And we got Geos, right?
Yes.
Perfect. And we got hope. Do we have listeners?
We do.
Nice. This is going to be fun. All right, Anderson, you want to start?
Sure, let's do this. So, what's weird about this topic is that I'm not going to have a whole lot to say about any of these, other than the fact that it was
a bit of a random assortment.
It was a good exercise in the sense that I get to go back and be like, you know what? Maybe it's time to revisit some of these because the only. Oh, you're all right, buddy.
Okay.
Brian has an eating problem. A lot of us have drinking problems. He just tried to eat some phage. Is that phage? Phage?
It's Trader Joe's imitation.
Some yogurt, and he took that spoon right off the front 2 teeth.
The problem is that I turned the spoon upside down.
That's a weird thing to do. Why you do the upside down thing? I don't want to know. Now you're talking about tongues. I don't want to hear it.
This is not a childhood story.
I was going to tell you.
All right. So my dad, as many of you know,
your tongue has taste buds.
Would take
so
me.
You want the food to hit your tongue.
Would take me to many strange, odd, not suited for children movies. And it wasn't, I always tell the stories of the ones that were exceptionally rough and hard to watch and nightmare inducing and kind of probably DNA altering in my own little, developing brain. Mm-hmm. Right? Like The Thing.
Your synapses are firing.
Yeah. Poltergeist to a lesser extent, but even Poltergeist. But he would also do the same thing with...
Wasn't there one that was kind of sexual, like Carnal Knowledge or something?
Tightrope is one that comes up quite a bit. It was about him tracking a rapist. About what's his name? Clint
Eastwood.
Fuck, that was upsetting.
Yeah, very upsetting.
I hated that
I always
movie.
remember the red. I watched it not too long ago too, and I'm like, what the fuck was my dad thinking? All right,
The only way you can orgasm is
Trouble.
watch the movie.
no, that would be all. Yeah, it's surprising that I'm not some kind of like deviant.
Yeah, you really should have more hang-ups.
Yeah, I think I dodged some bullets, but I think it just made me kind of a more of a pab than anything else. So, anyways, he also would say, you know what? I don't give a fuck that my kid is like 9 years old and probably won't appreciate a 3 hour and 13 minute movie, 3 hours and 3 hours 13-minute movie about flight. I'm taking him to the right stuff, and I went and saw the fucking right stuff. Philip Kaufman's The Right Stuff in 1983, and I remember being bored stiff.
I've still not seen it.
And
Only
walking-
9. How old are you?
I was 9.
Oh my God.
Walking out of the theater, and my dad just going, "Wasn't that great, Buck? That was a great movie, huh?" And I'm like, and it probably is. I need to rewatch The Right Stuff.
Wasn't it
And-
up for Best Picture? Like, it was celebrated.
Yeah, it was, and it won 4 Oscars, Brian.
Okay, there you go.
And in my little brain, I feel like I've seen it. Now I've seen clips for sure since, but I have not seen. I've not seen it with my
Let's do a
adult
watch
brain.
along.
3 hours, 13 minutes, and I don't know if I want to talk over this masterpiece. From all accounts, Sam Shepard, he was up for Best Supporting Actor. We had Earl Winkler, he producing it, and it was up for Best Picture, Best Cinematography. Yeah, and
it was
I
celebrated.
but it's all about NASA, getting into space, like the early
NASA.
days of them doing the all the testing and the everything that led to space exploration. So I need to watch this goddamn movie, but I just don't have 3 hours and 13 minutes.
I'm gonna see Tightrope again.
Keep your hands to yourself. Ed Harris crushing it. Got Scott Glenn. We got all Scott, just Ed Harris and Scott Glenn, because they're both known for space movies, but different space movies. You know, I think it probably led. They ended up. Well, no, because oh Jesus Christ, never mind. Don't listen to anything.
No,
I'm
for
saying.
every
Because Scott Glenn was already in Alien before this, right? And then Ed Harris was in Apollo 13 later,
Was Scott going alien?
wasn't he? Oh Jesus, didn't he play Ash after
No,
Ian
that's
Holm?
Ian Holm.
But the second one, then Aliens.
No, that's fucking
Oh Jesus Christ!
what's his face?
I'm gonna kick the cord and make all of this undone.
No, Bishop. That was
Ah, Jesus.
what's his name?
Your
God
mom.
damn it! I can
I think his
picture. I
name
see
was your
him.
mom.
He was the original choice to be the Terminator.
Pauly Shore.
Oh wait, he was in The Right Stuff. No, he was in a science movie. I wish I didn't go down this road at all. It was unnecessary. Fuck, I thought he was in a space exploration movie.
Scott Glenn was in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, he was. I'm sorry. Apologies to everyone.
Johnny has a long name. What the fuck is it? Oh, it's just driving me insane.
God, I look at his face and I just think of space exploration. Scott Glenn. Maybe it's because of The Right Stuff. I did watch him for 3 hours and 13 minutes as a child, and it just got burned into my brain.
I was just thinking about it. He was on the Corolla show promoting a book called All Too Human. The fuck? Avery! Who played Bishop in Aliens? Fuck. I can see his face. He was a cop in Terminator. One of the cops got killed.
Oh, it was Scott Glenn.
Lance Henriksen.
Henriksen, thank you.
They look similar.
They have odd looks.
All right, let's
You
go.
ready for number 5?
Yes.
Hey, you mentioned being 9 years old.
Yeah.
Is that the oldest on your list? You were for movies you were calling?
Yes.
Okay. How old would you accept for being a child?
Like 11 and under, probably.
When I was about 12 years old.
It's almost like we wrote that up.
I actually don't remember the exact age, so it could have been 11. But I was for sure in 7th grade, and this came up last week. In fact, Anderson gave me a little bit of guff for this movie. It was one of the original 12 that old balding Bryan relied on quite a bit in the early Film Vault days.
Huh?
I remember seeing very clearly in Mr. Anthony's leadership class. That was a great class. It was an elective, and it's called leadership.
That's where they take little pabs and they're like, "You too can be a leader. Anyone can be a leader." And they put
Pretty
you in
much, yeah. And they got to do one semester was like a courtroom jury simulation, and one semester was politics and elections and stuff. And as part of politics, I don't know why this related, other than I think he loved the movie. He wheeled in the old TV. Remember they wheeled in the big box
Yeah, of course.
CDs?
It was a great
And
time.
popped
Every time
in-
you'd see that,
Oh,
just
yeah.
hearing squeaky wheels to this day makes me happy because I'm
This
like, oh,
took
here
up-
comes the video player.
This would have taken up 3 periods probably.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I popped in the VHS.
3 periods of either losing yourself in whatever they're drivel they're showing you or just sleeping. Awesome.
Popped in a VHS of an old black and white movie. The Manchurian Candidate. I was like, I don't want to watch this old black and white. No one
That's
cares
where it
about
all
this.
changed for you.
Socks, clear across the room.
Were you
Clear
like the only,
across.
were you like after class trying to talk? Wait, so you guys watch it in 3 parts?
We had to.
So you're like, oh, can't wait for more Manchurian tomorrow. What's
right.
going to happen?
He was
Yeah.
doing his own AMC miniseries.
He was.
Well, imagine how confused I was after day 1.
And you're like, now were you trying to talk to this about with your peers? And they're like, what the fuck, dude?
First of all, I had no peers.
Yeah.
Secondly,
You means that in a bad way. Like,
His genius stands alone.
I really mean in a bad way. No one talked to me. But yes, I attempted. I did.
He just had his stories.
I did attempt to talk about it to the only friends I had, my mom and my dad, and explained that I'd seen this life-changing movie, and they're like, "That's great."
I'm imagining you going home and listening to some Sinatra on a
I had no choice.
cassette
It
tape.
was always going on. It was always
yeah, I was
going
going to say,
on.
he was already well into Sinatra years by then.
I didn't realize Frank had ever acted.
Can you imagine everyone hating Brian? Like he's like in 4th grade going, Frank Sinatra is the greatest.
You know, I would have been more annoying. You know, Sinatra's not the greatest vocalist, but it really is more of his phrasing.
What do you call a singer? What's the word for
crooner?
Crooner, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. You know, Frank Sinatra's the greatest crooner of my grandfather's time.
Of his generation,
Fuck
and
yeah.
regularly beyond.
Number 4 for me is a
No, Gio.
oh yeah, Gio.
Geo. Number 5 for Geo is Lassie from 1994.
What?
He said seen by himself at age 10 at Kirkland Park Place Cinema 6. It was the first time I fell in love with Michelle Williams. She's older than me. Relaxed Dorks. Species opening was number 2. Number 3 was Dawson's Creek. Number 4 was Take This Waltz. And kids use the other F word. PG rating. Solid adaptation.
Okay. I didn't know that was a film.
Apparently so.
I
Take This Waltz.
actually, I would have lost that bet. If was there a movie of Lassie in 1994?
I remember that.
No, not at all.
Lassie. But nothing about the actual movie.
No, that was it.
No, it's the recollection.
Number 4 for me is another. I lied.
You notice mine had nothing about the movie either.
I was 10 or 11 when I saw this one. Very similar in just bored as fuck when my dad thought, my 10, possibly 11-year-old, I think I was 10, kid is going to really enjoy Dune. Dune is a movie that my son will love.
Science fiction.
1984 Dune. It came in 2 hours, 17 minutes. And I had already seen like a couple of Star Wars at this point, and I'm just like, "What the fuck are we watching, Dad? What is this?" Not only that, it was. I remember the theater. I could point it out. It's in Westwood. It was summer, and it was. We had. It
And
was
you're like, I'm
sold
done with
out.
this David Lynch guy. Never again.
Sold out. People loved their Lynch. People loved Dune. It was a giant theatrical, event.
Sure.
We probably saw it opening night or opening weekend, and we're in the balcony, and the air conditioning had broke, and I remember just sweating my little 10-year-old balls off, being bored as fuck by Dune.
That feels long.
Almost
the spice.
appropriate though with the heat.
It felt a little bit when they were out there with the sandworms
That's right.
and the spice and the
Little 4D.
fucking brainchild thing. Like, and I didn't know who David Lynch was. I didn't know who.
You didn't know from Elephant Man?
No, I did not. I was 10, maybe 11. And one of the worst movie going experiences when we did top 5 worst movie going experiences. I think this was on there.
What's not to like?
Yeah, so that's number
Dune
4.
apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
But
Number-
now looking back, love that Dune.
You've grown to love it.
I've seen this one. Not my favorite Lynch movie, not my favorite sci-fi movie.
Wow.
But there's a lot to like there.
I realize now that I have quite a range of films on here, because my number 4 is one of the worst films ever made. Easily. And yet I was so excited. Well, Anderson, maybe you know this about me, maybe you don't. We've talked a lot over the years. I could have let some information slip.
We have had words.
There wasn't much. Really, the pillars of my like 11-year-old like 11-year-old life were baseball cards, baseball, Little League. I probably got into
Very loud smack.
Wait, would I have been? No, I would have been just short of SNL at that point. But one of the biggest things in my life, like a religion, pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever talked about that before? Have I ever
You've talked about
Okay.
your love of wrestling.
So I loved wrestling. I discovered it.
There's that new movie coming out. Looks pretty good about the brothers.
Yeah, the Von Erichs. Yeah, the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
I probably discovered it around age 10, and by age 11, I was fully immersed, and that's when I learned. You remember how hard it was to come by information back in the day, especially like information about movies? Like you'd have to hear it from someone at the video store or something, or read about it, who knows, in a magazine. I learned that there was a feature film about pro wrestling, starring actual pro wrestler. Roddy Piper was in this film. It's called Body Slam.
Mm-hmm.
I
How have you not assigned this to me? How have you not demanded that we watch this as a watch along?
this will be our next watch along.
This month.
At 85 minutes long, it'll be a brisk watch along.
All right, we
Body
can do
Slam.
a little more pre-game then with the listener.
Yeah, so
Let's do that next week.
I grabbed it off the shelf after learning of its existence. I went to the video store.
I remember the excitement. I remember having similar excitement.
Quivering
Not for this
with
movie.
excitement. So there was a pro wrestling movie, a feature film starring like actual actors. Like Dirk Benedict was like the star from A-Team. And so I remember renting it, being so fucking excited like to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time I was ever really let down by a movie. I was like, this is terrible. This is a very bad movie. The wrestling scenes don't look good. The wrestlers, everything's dark and dreary and like depressing and sad, and they're all using fake names because it's not like a WWF production. Like it's just a movie. They're all playing fake versions of themselves, and it was directed by, come to find out, doing research for this, Hal Needham, a legendary stuntman, relating back to what we were talking about earlier in Gone in 60 Seconds, and it's very bad. And I was very disappointed, and I was crestfallen, and I think I tasted disappointment between that and the A's losing to the Dodgers in the World Series.
The world was a dark
10 months
place.
before. That was a rough year.
It is shitty.
And my hair's starting to fall out.
Growing up, because like the first 4 or 5 years, 6 years is all like Disney and happy endings and good. Like all the learning is just like blocks and
The only
colors.
disappointment is like, oh, we're not getting ice cream today or something.
Yeah, and then it's a pretty sharp drop off to just reality, like first, second grade. It's just like, nope, we're losing the colors. That thing about Santa, and then
Let me tell you about numbers. You know how we taught you to count? You can do things with these fuckers. You can multiply them. You can divide them.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you about something.
let's
called
bring some
fractions.
letters into math. How about that? Yeah. And
Right here,
the
you
good
don't
guy
know the
doesn't
answer.
always win. A lot of your movies suck. they're really bad.
I think when Kirk Gibson hit his iconic home run in the World Series was the first time I was crushed as a kid.
So many people were so excited about
I
that.
know. I realized I'm on the wrong side of history because it's like an iconic moment that everyone loves.
Were you
And
there?
Here's little me, my fucking A's jersey.
Were you there?
No,
Everyone always says that they're there.
no. It was in L.A. actually.
I know.
The A's had the home field. Oh no, Dodgers had the home field.
Yeah, I know. All right. Also, I should say that my movies go like this as far as years go. They go 1983, 1984, 1981, 1981, 1981. 1981 was a tough year as far as movies go and being exposed to movies at a young age. Too young of an age.
That's your Gio's number 4.
Yeah, number 4 for Gio.
Gio's number 4 was Star Wars, the 1997 special edition re-release.
That'll do it.
With 4 buddies, age 13 at Regal Bella Bottega.
Oh, poor Gio.
I can recall the exact day in my mind's eye the first time I saw this movie. The last outing we ever did is the 4 buddies seeing a movie together.
It ruined the friendship.
dwindling to groups of 2 and 3 and eventually never speaking again, but now see each other on Facebook or Instagram.
That's very sad. This is cathartic. All right, Andy, do number 3.
Poor Gio. Tragic life.
This
Gio.
is getting worse.
Number 3 for me is another movie. This is the final one. And well, actually, that's not true. But this is the final
The
one.
movie was so bad it ruined his foursome.
He always, I think Gio sees things a little differently than they actually are. All right, this is my third in a trilogy of
What's
boredom.
the opposite of rose-colored glasses?
I should have done this reverse. I should have done, what is the opposite? Like black color?
Yeah. Poop colored.
Yeah, brown color is probably the opposite of purple. I should have done this like shortest to longest, but this is another movie that I was dragged to because the critics loved it, the Academy loved it, My dad ended up loving it. Little Andy was bored stiff as a 9-year-old watching Chariots of Fire.
Oh no!
I don't fucking care about these old, weird, timey men running through the ocean,
skinny white guys on the beach,
trying to like do long. The music was great. I was not too young to realize that score was fucking awesome. But the movie itself was just like, I'm so bored, Dad. I don't care about these little British men. I don't care. And he was just gobsmacked. Just his mouth was agape the entire movie. He couldn't wait to talk to me. My dad was just in desperate need of a friend. And he tried to make me his friend when I was a little kid. And then when I became a teenager, he just wanted to make me, I was his adversary. So there was like a small window where he just wanted me to be friends, but like he was trying to have me watch Chariots of Fire and then discuss it afterwards.
He did it to himself.
On the way home, he'd be like, wasn't it great when they were running? I'm like,
that was the whole movie.
But this is a movie.
There wasn't one gun or explosion, Dad.
I need to go back and revisit. I might be fucking blown away by the old Chariots of Fire. Now,
this would be a fun series for Anderson to report back on.
Hugh Hudson, the director of said Chariots of Fire.
Wait. Are all your movies bad memories?
What do you mean?
Are all your viewing experiences bad memories? Because these are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Really bad. Well, no, the second one is not.
The topic
bad,
is not it was top 5 worst childhood movie experience.
They're most memorable. Like, you remember Trauma?
Yeah.
Actually, I got to admit that's true.
Yeah.
It's hard for the good to break through. The bad is just so bad.
My number 2, like I love this movie, and I think part of me loved it at the time, but a larger part of me realized that I should not have been watching it with my dad. And when the fingers got severed, I was really, really disturbed and upset. Oh, that's another one where fingers get disturbed. Alcatraz could have been on this list. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, Atticus knows all too much about Alcatraz. Anyways, what I was saying is that Hugh Hudson directed Chariots of Fire, and because of this research, it brought this movie that I had forgotten all about. I still have not seen, but Hugh Hudson directed a movie called Lost Angels.
Oh yeah, with Ad Rock.
Yes, with Ad Rock, and this movie is not accessible except for YouTube. I will be watching Lost Angels finally. I remember reading about Lost Angels, hearing about Lost Angels. Friends had seen it like in my skate days. I will be catching up with Lost Angels.
It's like Los Angeles, but then there's a
I already watched the opening to see what the transfer's like. It's not great, but like it says Los Angeles. That's the opening title. It just says Los Angeles, and then you hear the spray can, and then the T goes in, and the E gets crossed out, and Angeles. Yeah, it's. I'm hoping for fun. Maybe it'll be a watch along. I see.
God damn.
We're watching the trailer right now. All right,
so it alluded to in the Beach Boys documentary we saw last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lost Angels?
Ad Rock, I think I've already met Honey Sky.
Oh, the Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
I thought you said the Beach Boys.
Oh, sorry. Beastie Boys.
It looks like a hard
watch. He
watch.
does talk about the Lost Angels, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. This looks so like late 80s, early 90s. They epitomizes. It's all supposed to be cool.
You might get back into skateboarding.
The guy that directed Chariots of Fire directed this. He directed Chariots of Fire first.
Same soundtrack.
And then he directed this.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
He's also featured in The Crown.
Oh, yeah. Hugh?
The filmmaker.
What do you mean
his story is in that?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, his the Middle Eastern family, the really rich guy that wants to be seen as British and know the Queen and all that, and his sons.
Which
I want to say it's season. It's Diana's era, so the most recent.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, then yeah, he's featured in it. It's very interesting. His dad like ends up owning Harrods and all that. He's insanely wealthy.
I don't think I saw that, or did I? I don't know. I've seen too much.
Owns the Ritz. Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I've seen like movies about Diana. I've seen too much.
Who is he?
The documentary.
Why are we talking about him?
Because he directed Chariots of Fire and Lost Angels.
And he also,
Hugh Hudson.
the actual director, is a character in The Crown, which is
How about that?
interesting.
Now I want to watch that. All right.
My number 3 for me.
You could honestly, you watch it as a standalone episode.
Should also say that he died earlier this year in February. Hugh Hudson.
Oh, sad. For number 3, I'm going all the way back to being 2 years old. Almost 3, but two in a few months. I mentioned that there would be some Pabby choices. Mm-hmm. Pabby choices?
Yes.
I was taken to see a family film, a beloved family film that has stood the test of time. To this day, I would be surprised if you showed it to Atticus and he loved it. Mm-hmm. But E.T. was too much for 2-year-old Bryan. Carried out of the theater, screaming and crying.
Yes, I remember you telling me this.
Yes, disturbing
sad
a packed theater.
time in your life.
Yes, very sad. I was inconsolable. I think it was early in the film too, where like E.T. first made his appearance, and that was not okay for me.
No.
I was dragged, carried, escorted out of the theater until I calmed down, and I remember being like in a multiplex because, again, I'm 2 in a few months. I'm being taken.
Wait a minute. You're saying that you remember being 1 right now?
No, I'm 2 and like 10 months.
Oh, I thought you said you're 2 in a few months.
Oh, I'm 2 and a few months.
Okay, so you remember being 2.5.
Almost 3,
Okay.
2 years, probably 10 months.
All right.
I looked at the release dates and figured out when I would have seen this. So I remember being in a multiplex because my dad was carrying me back to the movie, like, hey, you want to give it another shot? And like I kept looking. This is the days when they would have the door open to the theater, and I kept looking at me and like, oh, it looks fun. Can we see that? Oh, it looks fun.
Oh, like
We go
other
in there.
movies?
Yeah. Can we go in there instead? They're having a good time. They're laughing. It's probably Arthur or something. Who fucking knows what it was? But yeah, I papped out pretty hardcore.
Interesting.
Really early, established early on what a lightweight it was. E.T. scared the
There's some
shit
scary
out of me.
moments for a 2-year-old, but a 2-year-old shouldn't even know what scary is yet. Because I remember taking Atticus to like
I think I was startled.
the Halloween. Yeah, maybe there's some jump scares, but like it's funny seeing little kids that are 2, 3, even 4 years old, like around Halloween time, because they go pretty hard out here now. They go hard everywhere at the Halloween now, and you see rotting corpses. Just like you walk into a fucking CVS, there's just like a little girl who's rotting with worms coming out of her face.
Did not like.
And Atticus did not notice or care about any of that stuff when he was like a little innocent kid without any context. But now now it's scary to him. But when he was like 3 or 4, but yeah, it was probably the jump scares and E.T. screaming and his neck expanded.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
that.
that
I
was-
think it was E.T.'s neck.
It is upsetting.
It
The
is
third
grotesque.
act is upsetting.
It is
Well, I mean, then it
grotesque.
gets sad. The third act is very sad, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I made it.
You know that scene where it's still unbelievable to me that one of the most iconic scenes in any fucking movie ever, where they're on their bikes with ET and then they fly over the cops. That's an intersection that I go through. I went through it this morning twice.
The cops with the flashlights?
Yeah, and then it's guns, and then it's walkie-talkies, and now it's guns again.
Nice.
Yeah, that scene
Put the guns back.
is shot in an intersection that I drive Atticus to school on.
See,
Crazy.
got Obama out of there and get the guns back in. It's
Get
easy as that.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Obama took the guns out?
Yeah, then Trump, President Trump put it back in.
No, I think it was Motorola put the walkie-talkies in. It was product placement.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 3?
No, are we?
Number 3 for Geo.
Oh, okay, you went first, then me. Yeah, I always forget.
Number 3 for Geo is 1993's Forrest Gump.
Oh,
With my childhood best friend and her brother,
93. That was
age
95.
10, at the Kirkland Park Place Cinema 6.
there's getting a lot of run here.
Very inappropriate movie for us and her 6-year-old brother. We lived
Why?
a lot of life in those 2+
'Cause of
hours.
the running?
And I went to Nam figuratively.
Forrest Gump does have a
Jenny.
dream scenario moment with Jenny when she comes on to him.
I thought it was 95 because that's when it won Best Picture, I guess, was the 95 Oscars, but it's actually 94, Gio, if you must know.
It's where I learned I'd be friend-zoned for life like Forrest until the girl of my dreams was ready to baby trap me with AIDS.
What in the fuck, Gio? Wait, explain that again.
That's how it happened in the movie.
Oh, I see.
Because he also went with his childhood best friend and her brother. So his best friend was a girl. So he might have had a crush. And he learned he'd be friend zoned for life
Just
like Forrest
friend-zoned.
until AIDS intervened.
Gio, you must have some joy in your life that is not Marvel related. All right.
I don't want to hear about it.
Number 2 for me.
No, break time.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon.
Let's do that.
Coming up next, we'll go over their notable and interesting Amazon purchases made after this. All right, we're back. I remember there was something I wanted to start with, and now I don't remember what the hell it is. Damn it! Maybe I just want to start by saying, hey, thanks everyone for doing the duty and clicking the Amazon link, the Amazon banner, and helping us out. It costs you nothing. Hey, Black Friday coming up, and I don't know if I'm allowed to actually discuss this. So, rumor is that Amazon will be having a more extended Cyber Monday, possibly starting early, possibly going beyond the actual day. So if you're in the market to make your holiday purchases on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, on and on and on, please consider helping the show. It costs you absolutely zero. I mean, nothing. I mean, just a few seconds worth of effort to go over to AndersonandBryan.com, tap the link, do your shopping, check out, and you have already helped the show by doing almost nothing to inconvenience yourself. Appreciate you guys for even considering it. Biggest purchase on the Amazon banner. I take a sip of water. So good. 2, Brother Printer drum units are purchased. God damn it. Dwen Willis. What the fuck? Dwen Willis. 8 of them. LED outdoor floodlights. TP-Link Deco Wi-Fi mesh system. Broview stackable plastic storage bins. Mobile cooling gel queen mattress was purchased. Someone got, we have this. The Bissell Spot Clean Pet Pro carpet cleaner. The thing really works. So if you got a pet who likes to make the occasional piddle, please consider getting the Bissell Pet Pro carpet cleaner. Works out really well. 3 GoPro Hero 8s were purchased. I assume the same person got 4 Suptig Jaws Flex mount for GoPro, and possibly same person got 4 Smart Tree car mount compatible for GoPro. So there you go, whole setup. EPOS, Sennheiser Game 1 gaming headset, Industrial Service Solutions Ultra Coolant, ASICS men running shoes were purchased, as well as a Makita 2-inch Brad nailer, Nutrafol men's hair growth supplement. How dare you? That's an attack. That's all that can be. Cuisinart ice cream maker, Mogami Gold. Mogami Gold Y.
He's not hitting the post.
Y adapter cable, Stanley French press, good nights and nighttime bed running underwear for a child. Where Remington Balder, now you're talking, Balder Pro head shaver, Szechuan hair paste, dare you, hair paste, Isopure protein powder, what the fuck is that word? Terradeck bolts, power cable, Golden State art, kids art frames, Carhartt men's sweatshirt, and finally, last but not least, we also have the art frames. They're really helpful. $50 Xbox gift card was purchased.
Here are the movies that were clicked through since the last time I talked at you. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I don't know which one. I don't know if it was the original or the Fincher remake.
No,
I don't know. In the Army now was clicked through, as well as Anti-Porno. That's what I hear in my head every time I look at Bryan.
It's really hurtful.
I mean, it's just like you're the opposite of porn.
Awesome.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse bonus content. I wonder if the same person got that. That's a Geo move right there. He'd buy both. He'd buy both options.
Gotta have more.
The King's Man was clicked through. I still have not seen that King's Man. The Stepford Wives was clicked through. I wonder if it was the Ridge. Ever seen that Ridge? Her head's split apart,
no.
Bryan. Like porcelain heads. Full Time was clicked through, as well as Blackberry. Fuck to the yes with the Blackberry. Weird time to click through on the Blackberry when it's about to stream.
Very odd.
Past Lives was clicked through. Need to see that. As well as Bottoms. The Royal Hotel. I have that fucking link, and I need to watch The Royal Hotel. Scraper was clicked through, as well as WWE 30 Years of SummerSlam DVD. Bryan, you own that? You want that?
That's my extra copy. I sold a third party.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 was clicked through, as well as The Suicide Squad. Is that the good one? That's the good one, right?
That's a good one.
God, what a difference a little word like the can make, huh?
Indeed.
From absolute 1-star trash to like near 5-star awesomeness.
I can't wait for the groupers.
Look at how pleased he is.
That was well done.
Thank you, Avery. I needed that so bad.
It wasn't terrible.
Extremely hurtful.
That's fine. The Bryan's World is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
too.
the growth is going to be something else.
It's called the Bryan's World.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Bryan's World.
Surprise
is your version. The Bryan's World is the one that's about a different Bryan entirely, and will be very good. We're all waiting for
I
it.
can't wait for that.
Now back to the program.
All right, gonna wrap this up with some more stories. Anderson, what's your number 2?
I don't believe I had seen Road Warrior, Mad Max, I should say. So I not only was I a little bit lost as a 9-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy possibly, yeah, probably 8, but I was also disturbed and lost because the Road Warrior that was seen by me, my father brought me to. I'm like, why are they wearing hockey pads?
Yep.
Why is that little boy
Where is
so
everyone?
feral? Why
Where
is
is
that little boy?
everyone?
Why is water such a so valuable? Why are these people being so fucking mean to each other? And why is that little feral boy? Why is he sharpening his boomerang? And the
These are all fair questions.
fingers popping off of the man's hand when he tries to, albeit he was a bad guy, but when he's like, fuck yeah, little kid, I get your weapon now, and he puts his hand up to catch that boomerang that's sharpened.
And there's lesson quick.
I told Atticus all about that scene when we were out playing with a boomerang just a couple weeks ago. We were at a park, and I'm like, now there's a movie.
Fun.
And the little boy, it's a metal boomerang, and he sharpened it. But yes, the Road Warrior, which I saw also with my dad. So far, my dad's got that's the first 4. He's the one responsible for all these Little Andy movies that Little Andy should not have been watching. I mean, imagine I'm watching the Road Warrior, and probably at some point or another, I'm thinking if I'm wondering, like, as kids do, like wondering if I've been good enough so far this year to get what I want from Santa. Like, that's the kind of thought that's going into my head as I'm watching the fucking Road Warrior.
This could ruin Christmas.
I'm thinking, like, I wonder if Santa's going to be mad at me. Like, that kind of shit is going in my brain.
It's fair.
But I can tell you that once we get to my number 1, my dad was not a part of that one.
Oh,
that
really?
was not my dad's. That was my babysitter's problem.
Oh,
It was my problem. It was my babysitter's doing. So, anyways, yes, the Road Warrior scene in theaters. I'm still happy. Believe me, I would have it no other way. I'm not whining or pining for the past to be changed, which it can't be, or complaining about the trauma. I'm wondering like how different I would be, but I'm very happy that I can say that I saw the Road Warrior first run in theaters. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Number 2 for me. Less than a year after the UT debacle.
I remember his dog had a big, it really got stuck in my head too. I thought it would be so cool to be cruising around with like a tough, badass dog
Like
at your
German
side all the
Shepherd.
time. Yeah. I settled for Stan years later, but I always thought it was cool.
That's your version.
And he was always by my side, much like the Road Warrior.
Guys, that's Lesnar right there. Do a Road Warrior with both Anderson and Stanley.
With Stan. Yeah. Pretty good stuff.
Number 2 for me. Less than a year after the ET debacle, you would have thought my parents would have learned their lesson.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was a pap. Did I not make this clear?
You are Pab, yeah.
Yeah, I was even more
Throughout the
so.
episode, we've been discussing.
And being born in 1978, the first Star Wars film that I was really sentient for and like excited for, the Empire Strikes Back came out when I was 1.5, whatever it was. So I had no knowledge of that. But when Return of the Jedi came out, dude, I was all in. I was all about Star Wars. I wanted to go and see it. Turns out the Rancor scene early in the film was a little too much for a 3-year-old Brian.
You shouldn't be watching that movie at 3, I don't think.
Well, didn't go well.
No.
And I was
It's a big smack.
I spent most of the film watching from my mom's lap after that, mostly head buried in like her armpit because I was too scared of what was going on. So I missed my first viewing completely of Return of the Jedi because I was too scared.
What about Frizzle Fry or whatever your name is? Salacious Crack. What's his name?
Oh, Salacious Crumb.
I didn't make Salacious.
Because Salacious Crumb, I think he was actually watching the Ragnarok, right? With great
The
joy.
Rancor?
Rancor.
Yeah, he was quite delighted that the
Ragnarok.
Rancor took
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
Jabba's enemies.
He was very happy about that, but you missed all
I
of
missed
that.
that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
And
I
here
didn't
you
learn
are.
about him so much later.
Years later, you love that Salacious Crumb.
That's right.
Crack. Rancor. What did I say? Ragnarok.
Rancor, you said
I'm
Ragnarok.
really dumb. Really stupid.
Rancor is just like a word that means like anger or disagreement or
And they named the creature the Rancor?
Yes, it's up
Hey,
to
here
them.
comes the anger.
It'd be like it'd be like naming it the anger.
That's what people say when they see me walking in. I joke. I'm not. I'm not
Here
angry.
comes the anger. Speaking of which, what's Geo's number 2?
Speaking of which,
Number 2 for Geo is 1990's Dick Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
terrible.
So with an adult babysitter I had a crush on at age 6, again, Kirkland Park Place Cinema 6, I remember walking to the theater and stopping at the True Value Hardware where they had the action figures for the movie for sale and wanted to buy them all. They remained on the shelves for the next 4+ years. Never pulled the trigger.
That's not true. They weren't on the shelves for 4 years. Actually, you know what? As unrealistic as that sounds, I tend to believe it because Giovanni. Do you realize that he has like a photographic memory?
I mean, I know that he has a wealth of information.
It's from the photographic memory or near photographic. Like he is able to remember every fucking detail. He remembers things in shows that happened like from years past. It's remarkable what that man is able to piece together and make connections with. So when he says 4 years, I'm buying it. He probably knows because he's like, I remember still seeing him on my 10th birthday.
Which makes it so much more sad that so many of those photos are just dim and upset.
I know, like, but is that just the way he is, and he only like focuses in on the negative stuff for comedic effect, or I don't know? Because when I talked to Gio yesterday for a while. Last night, and he doesn't sound super depressed or unhappy, but you read his emails and you think this man should be on a watch list.
No, but his persona is jovial. He's a jovial fellow to talk to.
Number one for me?
Yeah.
Number one for me is a movie that my babysitters thought it would be fun to watch. They didn't give a fuck. But we're talking about the 80s, the early 80s. It was a very mean time, all right? Very mean. Everyone was just fucking mean.
It was a mean decade.
It was like the 70s. I can't speak to the 60s, but I can tell you the 70s and 80s. And then the first part of the 90s, everyone's just mean. Like they don't. I heard Billy Burr and Conan O'Brien talking about this on some podcast, but just how mean their time was because they grew up a little bit before me too, and it's just everyone like camp counselors were fucking mean.
Yeah.
Like they would just be mean to their kids. I remember Conan talking about how they were all making fun of him because he had to get off a boat to go get his sunscreen, or else he would have been burned to a crisp. And they're like, "Oh, do you need your little sunscreen, you little pansy?" And they're like his fucking counselors.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being at like a beach once, and friends and I were throwing sands at each other, like it was a machine gun fire.
Uh-huh.
And the lifeguard took exception and said, "Hey, stop there right now. Go pick up trash for the next hour." Like, who the fuck are you?
It was probably his job, and he wanted to like just have you guys do it.
Right.
Yeah, he was probably at the end of his shift. He was supposed to clean the.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
I can get these two little shits to do it.
So my number one was when I was being babysat, and I remember my parents were very. Not only was my dad taking me to terrible movies, like they were gullible in believing that babysitters, especially the neighborhood babysitters, because I probably had 30 to 40 babysitters by the time I was Atticus's age. It was a different time, and my parents were both
whoever was
working.
available. Yeah,
They had a service that they would go through, which was it was accredited, I guess, or God knows what they did back then. But some of these fucking babysitters that so you never knew who was coming through the front door. If they make a phone call, they'd be like, "We need somebody here." 4:00 on Tuesday, somebody would come through the fucking front door. It was always a stranger. It was always someone new, and some of them they didn't touch me or anything, but they were fucking weirdos. But then also like on the weekends, I don't know if it costs more or whatnot, but a lot of the time my parents would have like the local kids.
Sure.
A couple of them went on to be famous musicians because their father is a famous musician. That was the case when heavy metal was first shown to me. And it wasn't shown to me, Brian, heavy metal, the cartoon, the 1981 vile, disgusting, adult-themed cartoon. But
animated film.
They just wanted to watch it. Right. So it didn't really matter that I was there. It's not like they were showing this
that
little
was
kid.
Their plan that day anyway.
They were like, yeah, so we'll get paid, smoke some weed, and watch heavy metal while this kid and his little brother, I don't know what my brother might have been sleeping because he was very young. And I remember just sitting there, and they didn't give a fuck. They didn't even try and set up here you go draw in the corner or something.
And you're the normal one.
And I'm watching heavy metal and going, why am I seeing cartoon nipples right now? Why is this happening? And it was so. And I'm talking to Gio a little bit about it. Like it kind of fucked my brain really hard because I still thought of cartoons as like innocent and nice and safe. And now I'm seeing a cartoon which is supposed to be made for children and very, very erotic, adult. Fucking themes, and it was just something so gross. I felt like bugs were crawling on me when I was watching this. I remember just feeling so unsettled.
Violated.
And I didn't want to like look away or be the little kid, so I kept watching it like it wasn't bothering me, but it fucking bothered me for like weeks.
So you could have hid your eyes and minimized the damage.
But I had to be cool.
You had to be a man.
Yeah.
How old are you?
8. And I was a young age, you guys. I was a very late bloomer. I was a little pabby fucking socks pulled all the way up to my socks. And my mom put my clothes out for me till I was like 8 or 9. By the time I figured it out when I was like 12 or 13, I started smoking, drinking, and banging, like all like It was like one summer. I was like, all right, I'm now a man.
It was a tough week.
But I was like a little kid up until that moment, and then a girl found me attractive and hugged me, and then it was just like my whole life changed. But until
Like, I gotta smoke and bang this broad.
until that like week, that summer, I was like a tiny little boy who was scared of fucking everything. Yeah, heavy metal fucked me up.
Yeah, your bar mitzvah, but good. You became a man that week.
Bat mitzvah. That'd be pretty sweet if that's how it was. Like, all right, if
exactly. You're drinking scotch.
bar mitzvahs, they're just like, all right, you're a man. You're a man. It is funny, and Corley used to talk about this, but bar mitzvahs, like those kids, those 13-year-old kids that have bar mitzvahs, they're all like most of them, like still have high pitched voices.
Oh yeah,
You're a man now,
They're
son.
children.
Thanks, Daddy. Thanks. Have you ever been to a bar mitzvah?
I never have.
I never have either, and I've had so many
Really?
Jewish friends.
Apparently
Is it
not.
because you got to be Jewish to
Apparently
go a
not.
lot of the time?
No, I've
Not
been
at
to
all.
tons.
Huh? Have you?
Tons.
I've never been to. I don't think. Maybe I.
I've never.
I don't think I've. Oh, but by the time I was 13, I was like fucking too cool for going to parties and shit. Unless you're gonna get your bang on, there's weed there.
I mean, that's where the first time you see girls your age are dressed in mini skirts. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, we're 13. What is this?"
No, it's a school dance. I remember a junior high school dance.
Yeah.
It was
But they kind of outlawed it a little more there when it's a private event.
It is a private
Free
third-party
for all.
situation.
free for all.
Number one for me.
Yeah. Free for all.
Age
look at
age 7. A film.
Have we heard of this? Have we watched this with the listeners? Have we watched it?
It may have come up once or twice.
Christ. Does it have to do with Toto?
I don't know what that means.
Is it Return to Oz?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is a
You were
film
like
that-
20 when Return to Oz
This is a
came
film
out.
that changed my life
Uh,
for the positive.
uh.
I'll never. There's only
Oh, was
pre.
it 1986?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
There's only pre and post the Transformers the movie. This was my this was my bar mitzvah.
Two banned films
I
on one
became
list.
a man that day. What are you looking at?
Heavy metal.
Watching heavy metal.
You know what? On par with Transformers the movie in terms
Just
of
like intense sex scenes. Just like cartoons getting fucking railed.
Yeah, that's what kids need to see.
So uncomfortable.
I remember like a week before telling my beloved aunt, my godmother, how much I wanted to see the movie. And she was like, "Oh, I'll take you. I'll take you and your cousins, my 2 teenage boys." And my mom, fucking mom, like kind of like under her breath goes, "Are you sure you want to do that? It's supposed to be pretty bad."
Fucking mom.
I know.
Your mom was trying to save you.
she was
God, I love your mom.
She was misguided, but she was doing what she thought was right. And my aunt was like, "Yeah, it's all right. It'll be fun." And I remember getting in the theater. I remember my oldest cousin being so annoyed because he had aged out of the Transformers demo. He was probably 13 at this point.
When's that going to happen for you?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
that's a really good point. And he was only excited because Judd Nelson was in the movie as a voice.
I remember this, yes.
And he wanted to go watch something else down the road, like in the other theater
Something,
plex.
anything.
Yeah, and my aunt would not let him. I remember my mind being fucking blown, but by the fact that a Transformer said, "Damn it." When a Transformer said, "Damn it," I didn't know what to think. And then early in the film, one of the characters says shit. And that was too much for a young Bryan to process.
Mm-hmm.
My world was changed that day.
I've seen this movie once. I don't remember the damn it nor the shit.
Oh, we're going to watch it again.
No, we're not. I watched it with Atticus when you were on your deathbed for the Patreon
As a
bonus.
tribute?
Yeah, as
Because
a
you wanted
tribute.
something to talk about the memorial?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Brian's favorite piece of art on the day that he died. Oh, Brian.
number one.
Way to reach.
Yeah.
Way to reach.
It's indelible. I
Yeah.
can't get rid
How
of
old were you? 8?
7.
Too old.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, Atticus was 6 when he saw it, and he thought it was great.
It was amazing.
It's just it's a like 80-minute ad for the toys.
Totally. It's
all it is.
fun.
There's just no story. The
Fun.
music did not match at all.
It might be the highest movie ever on the fun scale.
No, there's no fun to be had. It's boring as fuck. The music just does not work. Remember, I showed you, I think, just a random
Oh,
scene,
yeah.
and the music was just like, it was like triumphant, crazy music when the battle was just beginning, like
But I think
nothing,
it
no
was-
one had won or
I
anything.
think I was kind of into it. It was kind of terribly good.
I know all those songs.
all right.
Was it Dare or was it Dare to be Stupid?
I don't know, Brian. What is Giovanni's number one?
Number 1 for Giovanni, 1993. Last action hero by myself, age 9 at You guessed it. Kirkland Park Place Cinema 6. I left school for the summer, walked off my elementary school campus, and kept walking past my apartments to my favorite, closest theater. You can still see myself from a top-down crane shot POV transversing downtown Kirkland.
This is poetic.
He's a very good writer. And that's it.
That's the end.
He doesn't have anything more.
No, just triumphant, walking in, beginning of summer.
He assigned us that movie.
Freedom.
Do you remember that?
No.
He also is Also Rants.
Oh, yes, please.
Do you want to start with Giovanni's Also Rants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also Runners, all movies I saw with my dad. I only met him about a dozen times, and we always saw a movie because he is a quote-unquote director. We both supposedly love film. He's a poser, turns out. Every movie he left to call his girlfriends in the middle. I thought he had a coke problem when I was a kid, and I told my mom as much. Payphone calls, then eventually cell phone. Every movie. All other movies I saw: Alone at the Park Place Cineplex, Odeon, number 6 from 1989 to 2011. The literal best times of my life. Alone with $4 to my name, spending it on a movie ticket instead of eating food that day. They tore it all down and just built a mixed-use commercial office building with a theater and restaurants.
Oh, sad.
Very sad. That's life, though, Avery. Gio.
Started high, though.
I can't play this. I want to play some of the
It's not
music.
coming through?
Oh, maybe it's me. There we go. There it is.
Starscream.
This music is just throughout.
Kind of. It's doing something for me.
Oh, my God. I'm a little bit too messy.
So bad.
It must have been a great gig in the 80s.
The sound design is spectacular.
The whole thing's available on YouTube for free. Or you can
All
rent
right,
it on Apple.
this part is terrible.
It's so bad all the way through.
That's Jazz. She's black.
There we go.
All right, we got to get out of here.
You had this with the tall can, and you're watching this. It was pretty good.
No, not good. All right, let's get out of here. My child is going to be sitting on the street.
All right, we'll do a couple of the listener ones. Craig Sherburne on Facebook. 1987, I was 7 years old, oldest of 3 kids. Grandma went a trip to Rome and took my mom. My 2 younger siblings went to my other grandparents for the week, and my dad and I stayed home. When his boss found out about the situation, he urged my dad to take me to see The Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
Neither of us had any idea what we're getting into, and I can't imagine a better way to see that movie. Me at 7 with my dad and a week of bacheloring it up. Him as a high-energy kid on a Friday night in the theater on its first run. Years later, when I was 15, while moving from L.A. to San Luis Obispo, he and I drove that as a round trip, and I read the book aloud to him, cover to cover. So 2 of my favorite memories with my dad involve that story.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's very sweet.
Mike Cole, I was 5 and going to the theater for the first time with my mom and sister. We went to a Dollar Theater to see Beauty and the Beast. However, the movie was sold out, and due to either my disappointment or the need for a quiet 2 hours, my mom decided that we see another movie playing, My Cousin Vinny. So I always say my first movie in theater was the R-rated, soft R, movie that my mom took me to. Don't remember my thoughts on the movie at age 5, but I love the movie now. DVK.
Thieves!
My dad took me to see Annie when I was 3 in Palm Springs at this cool mall with an ice skating rink. I was obsessed with Annie, and I was convinced I was an orphan, even though I'm the spitting image of my parents. Luckily, this did not stop my dad from taking me to many more films in his lifetime.
I can totally see DVK going, no, Dad, I'm an orphan.
sorry.
You're not my dad. I just remembered, and this has come up in other lists, but my dad in Palm Springs took me to see Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I was like
not appropriate.
7 or 8.
Too young, probably too
and
young.
through the whole movie, like instead of just taking me out and going, my mom sent us there. Like she knew what it was because her nurse friends and her had been talking about it, and she's like, yeah, Don, why don't you take Andy to see Fast Times? I heard it was good, so he did. Apparently, that's the story. And instead of just going, oh wow, this is exceptionally, wildly inappropriate for my small child, he just proceeded to make things worse by sitting in the theater with me and laughing uncomfortably, going, this is kind of inappropriate for a child, to let people know around him that he realized that it was inappropriate, but not taking any action. So it was the worst of all worlds.
That's true.
I was present for one of these that I'm sure was a memory that was made very similar. I was watching Midsummer
Oh, nice.
Watched with my buddies, grown men, two of which were profoundly disturbed and went, "Why'd you take us to see this? That's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen." And then in the row in front of us, a man stands up, probably 35, mid-late 30s, sitting next to an 11-year-old kid that's probably his nephew.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you the story there was, I'm going to be the cool uncle, take my nephew to see the In Vogue horror movie.
Uncle John, why did her face look like a vagina when it slammed against the rock?
I cannot imagine
dear.
what that kid thought of that at age 11, of seeing Midsommar.
Wildly bored.
Jesus.
And then just horribly
bursts of horror.
fucked up. Yeah.
Why is that bear man fucking that kid? Mitch Burns said Jurassic Park looks like it would have been number one far and away if we did a top 5 listener list this week. Since it's mine, here's my story. I've got 3 brothers. We all literally grew up on Jurassic Park and its 2 sequels. We watched the first one on VHS a million times, and when The Lost World came out, we watched it on the couch. And besides Disney movies, that's my first memory. That VHS was played on rotation. I remember my uncle questioning why my 6-year-old brother was watching a man being ripped apart, and I told him, he's seen it like 40 times. And lastly, Tedis Krieg on Reddit. My older brother, who was 16 or 17 at the time, worked at the local movie theater in a casino in Vegas. Tight. One time I was 9 or 10, circa 97. He took me and my twin brother to see Boogie Nights.
Nice. Oh, dear.
Also, at this time, he was on his high school's wrestling team. I didn't really notice because boobs, but during the entire movie, he was spitting in a coin bucket. Casino still had those buckets for slot winnings to cut weight. Near the end, he offered me a drink and handed that to me.
Ah, Jesus.
Almost threw up right then and there. We had a big laugh about it then. Shortly after, the Magnum Dong showed up. Now imagine a teenage boy and 2 10-year-old boys seeing that on a giant screen. Yeah. We laughed even more. He died in 2012, and this is one of the stories I remember fondly with him.
Oh, that's fun.
And my own was on a flight to Germany, age probably 9 or 10. I remember strongly seeing my first rated R movie, Shakespeare in Love. Mm-hmm. Oh. I did not know grown women were allowed to take their shirts off, but pretty exciting. Yeah, even with the censorship.
Can't wait to land. You were thinking,
I must see, I must see more of this Shakespeare and his love. Pretty good.
Very good. Very good. Lucas in Love is a short film that everyone should watch. It's very good. Very good. Yes. A lot of fun.
All right, Anderson's got to go, so let's gamble and get out of here.
Let's do a little gambling. Last week we gambled on the aforementioned The Marvels. Anderson guessed 68, Bryan 51 with 276 reviews.
Oh, no.
Actual Rotten Tomatoes score, 62.
Oh, you won.
Making Anderson the winner.
That's tight. Also runs for me is...
no, let's save it.
Somewhere...
No,
I'm not going to... I mean, my number one is Clockwork Orange, but it just comes up too much. But
let's
I was
save
like
it and do it
6
again.
years old or something. It's like, what the fuck? Why get those things out of that little man's eyes?
Save it. Okay. All right, gambling.
This week we're gambling on the much needed Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, that's really good.
Wieners can be used as weapons. That's what a little 5-year-old me was thinking. Clockwork Orange. What are we gambling on?
The Hunger Games: Ballad of Who the Shit Cares.
The new old Hunger Games.
All right, I got a number.
I got the number.
On 3.
Wait. Okay.
1, 2, 68.
67. Oh.
68. You guys, what, 67?
67,
67. Yeah. The 47 reviews. Current Rotten Tomatoes score is 68.
No way.
Yeah.
Crushing it.
Well, how many reviews?
47.
All right.
Do you think there's a single listener
my way.
excited to see this?
Are you going to go my way? No. That's absurd. Look at Zoltan.
Anderson's going to want to see the listener art.
I did.
Gotta zoom in.
It's quite good.
Oy, sorry.
Easy, buddy.
All right, let's go. Yeah, I saw it. It's making fun of me for listening. Hey, I listened back to parts of that episode from last week to make sure that I wasn't too distracted, and I wasn't.
No, you weren't. It was it was shocking when you revealed it.
I have very few things that I'm really, really good at, and one is being able to listen to one thing and hear another thing and hear them both at the same time, or focus on which one I want to listen. And that comes from years and years of doing radio and having one headphone in the room. I mean, listening to the show in one ear. Remember, I always have only one ear, and I'm very... Right now, who knows? Maybe I'll lose that superpower, but that's what I have right now.
Avery, just a heads up, change the title.
Yeah.
Mononoke in there. Thanks, Zoltan, for the listener art. Very fun. Thank you to the Subway Surfers for being our feature artists this week. Check them out over at AndersonandBryan.com. And that is a reminder to use the Amazon link when you're doing your holiday shopping. We appreciate you.
We do.
Instagram, Anderson and Bryan. TikTok, Anderson and Bryan. YouTube, The Film Vault Podcast. Twitter and Facebook, The Film Vault. 3 new spoiler episodes should be up now. The Killer, Dream Scenario, and Marvels. So enjoy those. Behind the scenes, full discussion spoilers over at our patreon.com/thefilmvault.
Don't mind if I do.
And yeah, fuck that shit. Till next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.